live and trying to fix this camera. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm just gonna wait for people to join. Let me put this down while I'm waiting. Oh my gosh, this is... I never have it together. I never have it together. Okay, so I'm just gonna stay here. Do I like the background? Okay, we'll just leave it here. All right, just waiting for people to join. And if no one joins, that's okay, because I changed the time. I'll just wait a little bit longer and then I'll just start on my topic solo, I guess. Here we go. Okay, it's only 44 seconds. So I'm just gonna wait for like a few minutes to see if anyone joins, but if not, it's just gonna be a roamy potty. So it's just gonna be me talking and yapping and giving some good information with notes I have here. Okay, somebody did join. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes to see who else joins. Different scenery, different background, no more kitchen talks, or sorry, bacon chat. So yeah, well, whoever joins the live, that'll be great. And whoever doesn't, that's okay. But to you who joined, welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see. I don't see it. Oh, maybe I should, hold on. I gotta get better at this, y'all. I gotta get better at this. I'm still new. I'm still new. I can't see my chat. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's no chat. Okay, I guess I'll see when people chat. Okay, so I'll just wait a little bit. Oh, we have 4 people. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Party's getting started. It's a new got a new series going on. Coffee and chat with Romy. So just coffee and chat this time. You're beautiful. Oh, thank you, Matt Lamar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so hungry because today I had a doctor's appointment and I had to fast the night before, and I haven't eaten since then. So I just been. Well, I lied. I did eat some Halloween candy, just a little bit. You know, them kids had a little candy left over, so I just took a little bite or two. But that was it. I need to, like, right after this live, I'm gonna definitely get my dinner on. Hi, hey, you're so pretty. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi. Oh, hi, everyone. Hi. Where are you? I'll bring you out. Sir, Matt, thank you for the compliments. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. However, I am happily married, so unfortunately, I will not be out anywhere. But thank you, though. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Haven. Oh, hi, Haven. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Let's see. Oh, okay. I don't even know. Hi, guys. You know, y'all are definitely different than my usual crowd. Is it snowing? Snowing? Snowing where? I live in BC, in Canada. I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm from Canada, so it's not snowing here. I'll say that. It's you know what? It's raining. It's raining. It's raining season because in where I live, we have like a warmer climate. Because we live on the west, I live on the west coast anyways of Canada, which is close to the west coast of the United States. So we don't get snow. And I don't think it's snowing anywhere in Canada as far as I know, but maybe. Hi, Romy, good evening. I thought you were having your chats. I am. Hey, CFT. Yeah, I sent a message. I don't know if you got the notification. I sent a message to on my channel, like the community tab. I don't know if you missed out on it, but this week I had to switch it up because Dom and I are going to be out of town on Saturday. It was last minute. I honestly did not know that we were going out of town. So that's why I had to switch it to today. So sorry about that if you didn't get the notification. Brad Lewis, where are you? I'm in Victoria, BC. That's where I reside. At home. Yes, I am at my house. Yes, I'm at home. How about the cost of living there? Actually, you know what? I want to do a video about that. Cost of living is very high where I live in Victoria, and Victoria is super high. Victoria, BC is one of the most expensive cities in Canada. And I don't know if any of you have heard of Vancouver, but we're on Vancouver Island. So Vancouver's here. We're on the island right below Vancouver. And yeah, we're just it's expensive. I think in Canada, period, housing is very expensive. So yes, to answer your question, the cost of living is very extremely expensive. However, I will say that it's beautiful here. I mean, it's worth it. I know the trade-off. It's like, it's, you know, this is something so crazy, y'all. It's like the trade-off for living somewhere. It's like you have to pay to play. So if you want to live somewhere really nice, very safe, you know, very beautiful, very warm, then you gotta pay that money and pay that money. Hey Romy and hey everybody. Hey Internal Paramore. Hey. Okay, my crew's here. Understood. It's good to see. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Yeah, next week it'll be back to normal. Next week I'll be back on Saturday. It was just a one-off. But we're gonna do a travel vlog actually, so y'all stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be vlogging tomorrow when we go out. I believe it's safe too. It's very safe here. Hello, God bless. God bless you too. I was the first like on the stream. Yay! Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Ooh, I hope I say it right. Dolphin Schmiertz. All right. Hey, girl, glad you're back. Hey, Chi-Town 559. Hey. Yes, I'm back. I'm gonna be consistent because I feel like lives are just so much easier for me. I don't have to edit. And editing used to take so much time. And y'all know, sister got a life. I got a life outside of YouTube, y'all. I ain't one of them folks that's gonna be on YouTube yapping all day. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not my life path and not my career path, I should say. So I had to really learn how to balance both because I do love talking to everyone and I do love doing YouTube on the side, but it's not my career, unfortunately, and it never will be as well, but I do enjoy it. So I want to be able to integrate it into my life where it's not so much of a chore and it feels so natural. So now with lives, I feel like at least I can get the content that I want out without having to edit and then film and do a whole bunch of other things that take up too much time. And now you want to be like, oh, okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah. So let's get to the topic. Okay, hey, cuz. Oh, hey, Didi. How are you? Yes, I'm good, man. I'm so happy. A lot of people are catching this live. This is awesome. Hey, cuz. I'm so happy to see you and to see you on the live. Is healthcare free in Canada? Yes. So I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then I'll get into today's topic, by the way, y'all. So I just want to chat with y'all a little bit. Healthcare is free in Canada. Correct. We have, well, okay. Free. So technically we have something called universal health care in Canada. So basically what that means is that our tax dollars pay for our health care. So if we get sick or if we have to go to the hospital or clinic, then we just show our card and that's it. You just go through, you don't have to pay. So yes, we do have universal health care and it's something that I think that we're very blessed to have. I understand that some people complain about it and I know that, you know, it's not really like our healthcare is going through a bit of a change right now. We don't have a lot of family doctors, so there are a lot of like, you know, emergency rooms closing and like there's just so much going on. However, I'm still blessed to live in a country where I don't have to worry about paying for medical bills if I were to have a serious situation happen, which I think is a big blessing considering the economy that we live in right now. So yeah, it's really, I'm really fortunate to be here. I'll just say that. I think we have one of the best healthcare systems in the world. Even though it's not doing so well right now, I do think that we have a good model. And of course, there's always like ways to fix it. There's always room for improvement. However, when you think of socially, like, you know, the fact that if you get injured or you have something and like you experience like a really traumatic experience or I don't know, whatever you go through, imagine having to pay for it like out of pocket. I think that's insane. So yeah, To answer your question, yes, we do have free healthcare. It's just universal, kind of free, but we just pay for it in our taxes. Okay, so emergency rooms closing. Wow, but hey, at least it's free for y'all, right? When I tell you, like, in emergency rooms closing, not in the bigger cities. I would say, I have to correct what I'm saying. It's more of like the rural cities. A lot of rural communities have experienced like ER closures. Some people in some provinces are better than others. Some provinces are really going through it. I know New Brunswick and especially Quebec, they're definitely going through it with their emergency rooms. So I think that our infrastructure definitely needs work. We need to change a lot of systems, and let's just say our way of doing things, especially in Canada, is very outdated. It's like things that have not been updated in like, we're talking about 40-50 years. So I feel like we really need to get with the times, and I think that socially we're trying to get there, but it's just that y'all know the generational gap. The boomers, they like to keep things the way they like it, and the millennials like me, myself, and the Gen Zers and the ones after, we're trying to push for change, but it's so hard to push for it when the boomers are kind of in power still. So that's another thing. I got you, girl. It's crazy. Every country is going through its own stuff right now. Huge, right? Every country, chill. Every country's going through it, and you can see it manifest in just politics. And first of all, to my Americans, I'm gonna get started on this topic. Don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna get started. But to my Americans, how y'all doing? How are you guys? Like, how are you guys feeling? I need to know, if you're an American in the chat, just let me know how you're feeling. Like, how are you? Because, you guys had a hell of a year. I'll just say that. And, November 5th is coming up. I used to live in America, by the way, y'all. So I kind of consider myself like a resident American, I guess. But I'm not actually American. I'm Canadian. Just grew up in America. But I will say that, man, like, just seeing the political landscape has changed so much. I remember when I was growing up, I grew up in Florida. When I grew up, Clinton, it was Bush. So we moved to Florida in like 1990, and George Bush was just leaving, the senior. And I grew up under President Clinton. He got elected twice. And then George W. Bush, I remember everybody used to hate him. Like, everybody was like, oh my God, he's so bad. But compared to what's going on now, I think he looks very competent compared to everything going on now. Yeah, so anyways, we grew up with George Bush. I grew up under George Bush, Clinton, and, both Bushes, Clinton. And I left before Obama came into office. I was like, literally, I left in 2004 and Obama entered office 2008. Yeah, so I didn't get to see that part of the U.S. Political landscape, but it's definitely different than from when I grew up. I'll say that much. Who said, are you transgender? First of all, that's not a diss if you want to say it's a diss. And no, I am not. I am a woman, but if somebody is transgendered, I don't think that it's a diss if you ask me. Like, I don't know. I'm not, to answer your question. Okay, hold on a second. We're gonna start booting people off of the chat. Let me remove this person. Ooh, it feels so good to remove you. Oh, there we go. I love this. Oh yeah, remove. Thank you. Okay, and then I have to kick you off. Thank you. Child, it's been very interesting, but my husband and I just closed on the house, so I'm very excited about that. Both political sides are a mess, though. Congratulations, Eternal Paramour. Congratulations, sis. Congratulations on closing on your house. That is such a big accomplishment. Let me tell y'all, it is expensive. Y'all already know. It is expensive. It is not easy to buy a house, especially in this day and age. So the fact that you were able to do that is such a blessing, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I wish you and your husband the best on your house journey, and I wish many, many more years of like just growth, prosperity. I'm wishing everybody on the chat that too, because baby, we are in for some we're in for a different time. I'll say that. But it's a good time. It's good to get your stuff in order. Good to get your house in order. Good to get everything in order, because the way it's looking, we gotta really, really tighten up on everything. And that's part of the chat of part of the reason of why I'm having this chat, by the way. I'll read a few more comments and then I'm gonna get started on my topic. Oh, thanks, babes. I'm stressed with the move, but I feel, yeah, I'm telling you, that's such a blessing for y'all. I'm wishing you guys nothing but the best. Howdy everybody. Hold on. Where are these people coming from? Let me boot you out. Remove. You're gone. Bye. Thank you. All right, there we go. I love. You know what? I love removing people. Hold on. How I get you off of here, Fake? Okay, Fake, you ain't say nothing. Who is talking like that? Freaking weirdos. It's hard out here. This election year is a joke. I can't. I hope you're doing well, Romy. And to everyone in the chat, I'm happy to see you're back. Oh, thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it is. But you know what? Y'all gonna be all right. Like Kendrick Lamar said, we gonna be all right. Everybody gonna be all right. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, so I don't like to say things too much, but I do have to repeat myself sometimes, because sometimes you don't know who's in the chat and stuff, right? But I am as a political science major, I will say one thing. Even if the worst person comes into office, at least I feel like it's always a cycle. There's always a cycle. There's always a cycle of the worst of the worst, and then the best of the best, and you have moderates, and then you have extremes, and then you have different things going on. So I will say this, at the end of the day, there's still a structure in place, right? So at least, people are still buying homes in depressions. People were still having kids in the Great Depression. People were still having businesses and making money even during that time, even though it was hard for everyone. So I will say this, like, you will still thrive. So don't be too stressed about it. Just take it as okay, I'm gonna get on my job. I'm gonna do what I have to do to get to where I need to go, and not limit yourself in anything that you're doing. I think it's always an opportunity to grow and to do better and to get yourself into a better situation. It'll be harder. I won't lie. It's gonna be harder. It's gonna be a little harder, especially with the job market, but it's not impossible. So I will say, everyone, just keep doing what you're doing, keep grinding, keep going, and don't let what's going on outside affect what you got going on. To a certain extent, it should not do that. I mean, of course, you have to think about those things, but at the end of the day, life is still lifing. Life is still gonna life. You still gonna have bills to pay, whoever gets into office, you still gonna have to pay your bills on the first. You still gonna have to do this, it never stops. The cycle never stops. So all you can do is just keep living, but keep growing and keep doing better for yourself. And that way you'll get you'll get something out of whatever you need to, basically. I hope that makes sense. Let me see. Straight sword of spirit. Yes, amen. God is in control. Amen. 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 Actually, right before this live, I was listening to some gospel music. I like to, try to get my mind centered sometimes, because, yes, a lot of craziness going on in this world. And, one thing is, I'm not a preachy person. I know I should be as a Christian, but I really I like to let people live their lives, in the sense that, like, I feel like everyone has a choice. Everyone has, has to live the life that they want to. They have free will to choose what they want to choose and how they live their lives. However, what I will say is that these days, it's like, I feel like there's such a weird spiritual, how can I say this? I'm going to just be real with y'all. There's a lot of spiritual warfare going on, in the sense that, like, you can literally see people's mental health declining. Like, I mean, I'm so desensitized, and it's very scary, because I live in a city where there's a lot of people who are unhoused, and a lot of people who have a lot of addiction issues. And I see it every day. I see people sleeping on the street every day, and it's not like a little one-off thing. I'm talking about rows and rows of people. You see people just tweaking out, like, just in broad daylight in front of people. I mean, like, I'm going to work, and I see somebody tweaking out, passed out somewhere in front of where I work. Let's just put it that way, right? So I feel like it's not only that, but it's just the morale. People are just, it's very disturbing when you think about how dystopian we've become and how desensitized to violence we've become. You know, whenever I try really to like log off of things, because it's like I get triggered because I see so many things happening. Violence against women, violence against children, violence against people in general. And it's scary, but all of that to say that, you know, I believe that God has everything in control as well. And I believe that, you know, things will get better. I can only say things will get better because I can't see it getting any worse. And even if it does, it's not going to affect my faith that things will get better. It's just a different time we live in right now. I feel like it's just very, I feel like the humanity has left the building. Humanity has left the building big time. And all we can do is pray. But not only pray, but take action. Because you see, on the 5th, because that's y'all voting day, y'all better get to voting. And I know some people in the chat are probably going to be like, I'm not voting, Romy. Listen. You can't not vote and complain about how the state of everything is. I feel like, you know, you have the power to change things. We should have the power to change things. And if not for everyone else, do it for yourself. We'll just put it that way. And try to get yourself in order in the sense that, like, okay, you know what? I was going to talk about something else, but I feel like I'm being led to talk about something else today. So I'm gonna just keep chatting. I'm just keep yapping right now, and then I'll get on the topic that we're supposed to get on. What I will say is this: like, in every generation, there's always going to be a few people who are going to do things differently, right? So no matter what everyone else is doing on the outside, and no matter how everything looks on the outside and how everyone's telling you to do things, I feel like you should still stay true to yourself and true to your values and true to what you believe. And when it comes to family, when it comes to raising a family, when it comes to who you're in a relationship with, when it comes to being single, even if you're single, whoever it is, stay true to yourself and true to the values that you hold. Because there are only a few people. I feel like the world is such a place where now things that you would be like, that don't look so right, that look a little wrong, people are actually celebrating things like that. And you know, I feel like it's just such a different time. And again, I know, like, you know, some people live life how they want to live life, and that's fine. But then I feel like, you know, people who actually want to be on the straight and narrow path are actually a small minority. And unfortunately, you know, we have to witness other people kind of fall on their face a little bit. And that's okay. But what I'm trying to say is that stay on your path is my point. Don't let other people's lives deter you from what you got going on. And try not to get distracted is what I'm saying, because life is so fleeting and we don't have much time. And, you know, you want to make the most out of the life you have, especially with the time you have. So if it is about you doing different things or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in your life, whether it's small, big, whether it's as a single person, as a married person, as a mom, as a dad, as a parent, whatever you want to be or whatever it is, just stay true to those values and continue to do what you're doing is my point. I'm gonna read a little few messages in the chat. You're gorgeous. Have a blessed day. Oh, thank you. That's Swifty TS. Stay on topic. Okay, I don't know who you are, Jamie, but it's my live. If you want to be on another live, you can talk to other people that stay on topic. That's not how Romy rolls, but thank you. Please call evil good and good. Yup, people. What? And people make excuses. You see, this is another thing. Like, okay, we gotta get to the point where we stop coddling people. Okay. Now, there's such a thing as being like watching what you say. Okay, you don't have to be a mean person to tell people the truth, but the truth is always going to remain the truth, whether people like it or not. Okay. Now, there's a difference between truth and opinion, but sometimes the truth is the truth. Okay. My thing is this, like, we have gotten so far as a society that when you speak something out and you say, hey, this doesn't look right, this is wrong, Oh, why are you judging that person? You judging people. You can't be judging. What if it was you? What if it was your mom? What if it was your dad? What if it was this person? And I'm like, okay, that's true. However, I can still call out what I see. And if I don't call it out and say, hey, like something is off. What we supposed to do? Just live in this delusional world where it's supposed to be right? Like, if I see, for example, somebody passed out on the street and I see kids walking around that person and they are high as hell, high off of the high. Okay, I'm talking about high, just high on the hog. And I see children walking around there. Am I not supposed to say this is actually a problem? This is an issue. If I see, like the other day, my sister saw somebody literally running naked in the middle of downtown Toronto. Are we supposed to be okay with that? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, you can't say anything, because if you say something, it's like, oh, well, you need to understand that person. That person has a mental health problem. Oh, we should be more kind. There's a time to be kind, and there's a time to be like, nah, wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's time. It's time to end it, right? So where I'm getting at is this, like, we live in a special time. Let's just put it that way. So just order your steps correctly. Get your things in order, especially if you look like this. Okay? This. Or if you're a woman, we'll put it that way too. Get your together. Get it all together. Because no one's going to come save you. No one is going to save you. Police ain't going to save you. I hate to say it, government ain't going to save you. Your family probably can't even save you. So you have to learn how to save yourself. And you have to learn how to do things yourself. Because you're not going to get a handout, unfortunately. That time, I'm telling you, no one's going to get a handout where we're going, okay? So we have to all just continue doing what we're doing, how you're living. Focus on that. Straight and narrow. Yes, people's hearts are cold. Whew. What the? Okay, you know what? Jamie, why are you here? Who are you? I'm going to block you. Bye. You're gone. And I'm going to block you. I gotta find a put user. Yep. Timeout. Bye. 24 hours. You're gone. Thank you. Whew, messing up my life. Anyway, let's get to the topic. All right. The topic at hand is settling. I think that was what I titled it. I forgot what I titled. I yap so much. I forgot what I titled the chat, but it was something about settling. So this is going to segue into what we're going to talk about right now. I don't know if any of you have watched Love is Blind. If any of you have watched Love is Blind USA, I think we're on season 6. Put it in the chat. Now, yeah, keep the devils out in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Yes. Okay, the Dev Studio. You've watched Love is Blind season 6. Sis, what? Are you okay? Did you make it out alive after that? Girl, it's crazy. Crazy is not the word. Like, I've watched Love is Blind since the beginning. Like, from season 1 with Lauren and Cameron. Like, season 1 with Lauren Cameron, Barnett and Amber. Then I watched, I think it was, I don't remember who, the season 2, I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot who was on that season. But I watched Chelsea and Kwame, and even Uche, and that whole drama he had going on with, I forgot her name. But anyway, even Tiffany and Brett. You know, there were so many different couples that came out. AD and Clay last season. I've been watching Love is Blind. I'm a Love is Blind connoisseur, okay? Tyler is the... Okay, so I'm going to go over, for those of you who have not watched Love is Blind, I'm going to go over a synopsis. And then y'all know I like to do my statistics here, so I got notes for y'all. I got notes. But this time it's on printed paper, because last time I couldn't even read my handwriting, so. All right, Love is Blind, season 6. It was a hot mess. This is why I was saying stay on the straight and narrow, don't compromise. That's what I forgot to say earlier. Don't compromise and stand true to your values, because what I saw was a miscarriage of just everything. It was so disturbing that I literally was like, man, you know what? We've gone too far as a society. Like this is now it's not entertainment anymore, right? Because you know the shows are usually for entertainment. People know what they're doing. You know, these marketers in those shows, they know what they're doing. They're targeting a certain audience because they know we watch Love is Blind. And they want to, you know, create drama and all these things. But now it's starting to get to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to have to boycott the show till they fix it. They need to get it right. Because the couples, the women were so beautiful. I'll say that. Gorgeous women. But this here is not computing. This here is not computing. Because they were saying one thing. They were standing on business before they got with the men. They was in the pod like, yeah, I'm doing this. I don't tolerate this. But then when they got with the men, the business was not being stood on. And I've been guilty of that. I have been guilty of that as a woman. You know, especially when I was younger, in my 20s. Oh, I was a guilty. I would even say I wasn't a pick-me, but I was a compromiser and I was a settler. This was my issue. My issue was that I tolerated too many things that I shouldn't have tolerated. The red flags were red flagging. And I was just like, oh, that's okay. You know, he's just going through a tough time. Oh, that's okay. He didn't mean that. He's just having a bad day. Oh, you know what? That don't mean nothing. Just letting things go. And I think that as women, we naturally do that. Whereas men, they don't. Like, y'all should see how my husband operates. It's insane. Because I'll tell you something about Dom. Dom does not compromise. There is no compromise. I'm not talking about with me. I'm talking about in general in life. With me, you know, of course I'm his wife. You know, I get my way. We compromise. We get things going. But when he's in the real world outside, he does not compromise. He's either black or white. That's it. He's like, there's no gray. There's no grace period. It's like, done. Like, oh, I said this and that's it. That's how he operates. And I feel like as women, and I'm not saying all women, because I don't want people to say, I'm not like that. I'm not. Okay, I get it. You're not like that. But in general, we do tolerate a lot more than we should. Let's get to the couples on Love is Blind. Number one. I'm going to save Tyler for last. Because that's a whole case study. I need to do a case study on this man. We're going to start with Alex and Tim. Now, when I first started watching Alex and Tim, Alex is I think she's younger than Tim. She's a very beautiful girl. You know, she was dating this guy named Tim on the show. They got together. And Tim, first they were really into astrology. So Tim's a Virgo. I forgot her sign. I don't know what she was, but she was something, y'all. I don't remember her sign. And yeah, Alex, okay. Was Alex messy? Yeah, she was. I don't mean messy as in gossipy. I'm talking about messy as in like unclean. Yes. Her apartment looked atrocious. Like, I'm like, ma'am, you knew them cameras was coming, ma'am. You could have cleaned up your place. However, was she a little lazy? Just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, she could have done more. I mean, you know, some people like to take naps. Some people like to sleep a lot. Now, was she bet wrong for sleeping when his parents drove 10 hours to see her? You know what, my personal opinion on that, because a lot of people were in the online talking about, oh, she shouldn't have slept with his parents and they drove 10 hours to see. I'm like, okay, listen, I don't know about y'all, but meeting parents is very stressful. Okay, I remember when I met Dom's parents, it was so stressful. And then we had to sleep over his parents' house because, no, when I first met them, I didn't sleep at their house. I had a hotel. Dom and I got a hotel together. But once we got married, then we started sleeping at their place because they lived we were living in Chuncheon, they were living in Mungyong, so it's about a 3.5-hour car drive, right? A drive. Now, it gets tiring. Like when you talking to them, yappy before, that's an energy drainer. So I get it. She took a little nap and he got upset. Now this is the thing with Tim. It was like he kept nitpicking at her for little things that I felt were things that could be improved. But however, you notice how he stood on his business, because he's like, nope, you slept with my parents, you slept when my parents were here, that's the last straw, I'm breaking up with you. He did not make no excuses for the girl. Whereas I feel like if it were the opposite situation, she would have definitely given him a little bit more grace. And she even said that. She's like, well, you're gonna break up with me because of that. Like, I feel like I've done a lot and I've like brushed things off with you. That's because she was willing to compromise. She was willing to settle. And he wasn't. Because as soon as she did something he ain't like, he was out the door. Something that seems so simple as like, okay, like you took a nap when my parents were there. It seems like nothing to us, but to him it meant everything. And he was like, I'm cutting this off. I'm done. Do I think Tim is a bad man? No, I don't. I just think that he had standards that he liked. He had a way that he had a way that he wanted his wife to be, and he didn't care how old he was. He didn't care how bald he was, because the man had, I don't know, his hairline was a little off. He didn't care about that receding hairline. He didn't care that he wasn't on the market like that. He didn't care if he wasn't going to be the pick of the litter. All he cared about was that he got his standards. He has standards. If he doesn't have anything else, he has standards. And when she crossed that boundary, I think he had a threshold. He was like, okay, she done hit it, she out. You see, he didn't care about that whole marriage stuff. He was like, you know what? I met your daddy. I don't care. I met him 2 days ago. Because she was like, you met my dad 2 days, and then you met my dad 2 days ago, and how can you break up with me? He did not give a damn. He was like, oh, I met your dad 2 days ago, and that don't mean nothing. You crossed my boundary. You crossed my value system, and I'm going to kick you out. Like, this is out. And he even said, I don't ever want to see you again. And some people were like, oh my God, that's so harsh, especially women, because we were like, oh, that's too much. But that's his standard. And that's where I'm getting at. It's like the men's audacity and standard were so up here, and the women's were here. We gonna get on the next couple. Ramses. Oh no, before Ramses and Marissa, let's get on the little Nick and Hannah. Oh my God, that was before I get on Nick and Hannah, let me read the comments here. Like, he wanted an excuse to get out of it. Yes, Serenity Johnson, he did. I think Alex's apartment was a reflection of potential depression, but she's still a little too lax for me. Deaf studio. Okay, you know what? I'm not making excuses for her. I'm not making excuses for her, because I will say that she was lax. She was very nonchalant. But I will say that the reason why I'm saying that it's something that could be worked on is because your girl, I gotta put my business out there. When I first married Dom, I don't know, y'all could go back in the videos from way back when we started, when we started doing YouTube in Korea, when we first got married. Sorry, I had something in my throat. I wasn't as bad as Alex, but I was a bit like that too. I would take my naps. It'd be time to, it's dinner time. I'm like, oh, I'm going to bed. Dom washing dishes. Like, it was out of control. But because I had a man who was patient with me, and he was like, you know what? Like, I understand that housework is not your thing. Your parents kind of spoiled you that way. And I'll just let you know, these are the expectations that I have. And I'm hoping that you can meet them. You see, he met me halfway, right at the borderline. But Tim, he didn't meet her halfway. He just said, you know what? I'm done. I ain't got time for you. And do I think it's right? There's no right or wrong answer, because that's his value. Those were his values. That's what he wanted, his standards, and she crossed them. I can't judge him for that. I can't, because obviously he had a reason. And he was looking for what, first of all, she crossed the boundary in Mexico when, I don't know what, they got into an argument, and then I think I don't know if she mushed him or went like this, but she had already crossed that boundary. I think to be honest with you, I think he would have left from the time he was in Mexico, but maybe he was under contractual obligation to stick it through. I think he would have left at that because he has standards. But then how many women I know got mushed in the mouth and they still in the relationship making excuses for their dusty boyfriends? Next couple. So now we got Hannah and Nick. Now I'm not gonna talk about them too much. Nick was a baby. I'm sorry, he's a man baby. Like the fact that his mom did like, that already for me, to me, was a problem. Nick's mom, and I'm gonna talk about that soon too. I'm gonna get on that. We're gonna be on this live for a little bit. Not too long, but not too short either. We're gonna talk about these mamas that be sabotaging their sons. Because this is an issue. So your son can't take out his trash. You do it for him. The dad takes out the cat for walks. First of all, I didn't know cats go for walks. So that was something new to me. I did not know that. He was living in his parents' house. They were paying his phone bill. There's no way, as an adult, that I mean, nothing wrong with living with your parents, because in these times, I understand that. But the fact that he lived with them rent-free and he didn't even pay his own bills, that's alarming to me. And that should have already been letting people know that he is not ready for marriage. Because where y'all gonna be when y'all get married? In the basement? You don't live with your mom, live with the mama? She gonna pay her phone bill too? And I get why Hannah was upset. Now Hannah was a bit too much, because I feel like, you know, we should give people, okay, this is what I say. You can say things in a way, you can tell your truth, but you don't need to be a biatch about it. You can say what you need to say and have couth and courtesy, okay? Just some things, like she was just like, oh, I turned you from a boy into a man. I'm like, this is not boys to men, ma'am. First of all, the fact that you even said that out your mouth is embarrassing, because ain't no way me as a woman is turning a boy into a man unless he is my son. I am not turning a grown man that came out of somebody else's flower. I am not going to raise you into a man. I don't have those skills. So the fact that she even said that was crazy to me, but that's on her. But what I will say is this. That couple right there is... One thing about Hannah, though, she didn't settle. I'll give her that. She did not settle. And she actually broke it off with him. Now, she was trying her best to accommodate him. Again, I think she was on a contractual... I think she had a contractual obligation as well, because I could tell that she wanted to be done with him. But he wasn't even doing anything right in the bedroom. He was not benefiting her at all. So at that point, I get where she's coming from, where it's like, okay, I need to get rid of this guy. But at the same time, you don't need to be mean about it. If you're not feeling somebody, just cut them off. Like, just be done with it. You don't need to string them along. You don't need to say, oh, this might work, this might not work. Listen, from the get-go, if I heard you live with your mama and you're not paying no bills and they paying for everything, they cleaning up for you as if you are a little boy, that should have been the cue to be like, okay, that's it. It's a wrap. Now, I don't want to talk too much about Love is Blind because I got to get back on the next topic, but I have to keep going through these couples. I'm closing my eyes because it gets worse. All right, let's get to Taylor and Garrett, because they weren't as much of a hot mess as the others. Let me read y'all comments. Nick was there to get famous, and he was. He wanted to get famous. I think all of them, to be honest with you, all of them. To a certain extent, all of them did. Because when you sign up on Love is Blind, you got to remember, like, people are watching you all over the world. This is on Netflix. And so even if they don't have Netflix, like, you know, I've seen in countries even that don't have Netflix, they have, like, those streaming shows, or they download from the dark web or whatever. So the show's very popular. And you get endorsements and stuff. Why did you decline me as your son? I know I'm a product of... Okay, John B. And I don't know why you got the same name as John B. the singer that I actually do like. But you are going to be put on timeout for 24 hours. Thank you. Okay, CFT says tolerance, in my opinion, are part of generational curses for women, especially if you come from a certain cultures around the world. Facts. 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 Because you know what? I know for a fact that it's something that I had to actively work on, especially like I'm gonna do a live chat maybe next week about healing, inner healing, healing the generational trauma that was inflicted on us, because you know we tolerate so much, and I don't know if it has to do with, like you said, cultural things, generational trauma. I think we have a scarcity mindset, and that is killing our community. And by community, I mean this here and the women community as well, the female community. Because depending, like you said, on which country you come from, you tolerate so much. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, things that don't need to be tolerated are being tolerated. And this is why I said do not settle, because at the end of the day, you're gonna lose. You're not gonna win. Don't settle. You're not gonna win. It's either you're betraying, because you're gonna betray two people when you settle. You're betraying yourself, and well, I wouldn't say two people. I think you're just betraying yourself, pretty much. You're betraying yourself, and you're betraying the potential person you could have been if you chose better, right? I believe in critical decision making, and it's like 2 + 2 = 4. 4 + 4 = 8. Now, I can't say 2 + 2 does not equal 5. Nick, why are you living with your parents at your grown age? That doesn't make sense. You see, when you make the critical decision making, when you think critically, you rationalize decisions, you're gonna make better decisions, because you're not gonna tolerate it. Because you're gonna think like, you know what? This man lives with his parents and does not pay a bill in the house. That means that he's potentially going to be spoiled, which means that if we get married, I'm going to replace his mother. Now he's going to be on my titty. Critical decision making now. Am I willing to tolerate that? Or do I want better for myself? Can I see myself raising a grown man and my children? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to go this way and make that choice. And if the answer is no, done. You see? Very easy. But I know it's easier said than done. But that's why I'm saying it now, like, because it's only when I started doing that things became easier for me, especially when dating. And then when I got into my marriage, I realized that I was like, no, I'm not settling. Like, what I want is what I want. And that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. And some people, I have something to say before we get on the next couple, Ramses and Marissa. Oh, no, Taylor and Garrett. Before we get on Taylor and Garrett, I remember, especially like when I had a really bad breakup. And I was actually going to marry this man. Yeah, we were engaged and then we broke up. Or he broke up with me, actually. And it was a blessing in disguise. He broke up with me because at the time, I had gotten a really good job at a company, at an insurance company, and I was leveling up. And this is exactly what he told me. He was like, well, you know, I'm here and you're here, and it can't be like that. Tea, y'all, tea. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm here, you're here. It can't be like that because you're going to be a career woman, and then it's going to be, you know, and he felt very uncomfortable that I was leveling up in my career. And I was leveling up in a like, I was literally bypassing him. Like, I was running out there, right? And I shouldn't have dated him in the first place, because when I met him, he had just lost his job. But I was being tolerant. And I was like, well, you know, he gonna find something else. I'm gonna help him through it. He just lost his job. I can't, you know, he couldn't control that. And what I should have done should have been like, you know what? Once you get your job situation sorted, if we're still interested in each other at that time, then you can holler at me again. That's what I should have done. Because 2 + 2 don't equal. 2 + 2 wasn't equaling 4 at that time. How was he gonna take me out with no job? He had a little bit of savings, but we couldn't really do much. He had a job. And I'm sitting here being Barbara the Builder. Barbara the Builder. And in the end, he broke up with me because I was doing too much in my career. I was moving too fast. I had too much. I had dreams and ambitions, and I had requirements. I had values that I wanted to achieve, things I wanted to achieve, goals. And he ain't like that. And that's why I was saying don't settle, y'all, because one thing I've learned in my life about settling is it always hurts you. It ain't gonna hurt the other person that much because they didn't settle. You did. And then one day you'll look back in your life and be like, oh my God, what the heck did I do? And thank God that God had provision on my life where he was like, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance to get back to it. And as soon as I broke up with him, I was single after that for like almost, I think it was like from, 2013. Y'all know I'm not good with math. From 2013 up until I met Dom, I was single as a Pringle. No man, no nothing. Now, I did have a little Sean, you know, you had a little crush here and there, little Seans, but I was not in a committed relationship, and I actually didn't even date much. I had guys that, you know, you talk to sometimes here and there, but I didn't have anything serious. And I remember I had broken up with him, and I was like, you know, I was really single for a while, and people used to ask me like, oh, like, why are you still single? And I remember one person told me, it was a male. He told me, he was like, oh, I think women, what did he say to me? Oh yeah, he was like, because he was like, oh, like, you're almost 30 with no kids. And I was like, yeah, what's the problem? Because at that time, I was very adamant. I was like, you know what? Like, once I worked on myself and I healed myself, I really, like, my standards were set. Like, I literally had a list, and I was like, I want a man that's this. Now, of course, I'm not going to be like, he got to be 6'5". I did not have that. It was more of like, and if you do have that, it is what it is. That's your standard. But for me, it was more of like, he got to have the same degree as me. Like, we have to be equally yoked. I was not willing to settle because I was like, you know what? If I've achieved this, I want him to meet me there. And then we can build from there. Because I was like, I'm not settling with nobody who has a lower, like, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I mean is that it's your standard. My standard was I wanted a man with no kids and who had the same education as me or work experience. I was a little flexible, but he had to meet me here. Cause I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna be Barbara the Builder no more. And yeah, one guy, I remember, because I think he felt salty that I didn't want, you know, I was just like, nah, I ain't interested in you. Because he was like, well, I think it's weird you don't have kids yet. And I said, why? Because in his mind, women who don't have kids, by the time they're 30, it's a red flag. Because that means that they're too picky and, you know, they're like leftover. He didn't say leftover, but that's pretty much what he meant. Like, you're too picky and nobody's going to want to date you because, you know, you're not willing to lower your standards. Where am I right now, y'all? Imagine if I had low self-esteem listening to that man. I was 30. I was literally like hitting the wall, like they say. I hit the wall. I was 13. And at that time, I wasn't even dating. Because I could have taken what he said and be like, oh my God, you know what? You're so right. I need to get it together. I'm 30. I need to find a man right now. Nope. I was like, okay, well, that's your opinion. And I'm going to still require a man with no kids. Thank you. And that was just my preference. If you prefer a man with kids, that's on you, sis. That was just me, though. I just felt like, for me, personally, I know how I am. I can't deal with the baby mama, baby daddy drama. I can't. Now, could I have made an exception? It depends on the situation. If he met all the criteria and maybe he had a kid and then, I could probably be flexible. But I wasn't willing to compromise on the main things. Because I was like, nah, it's a non-negotiable for me. And then, sorry, I got sidetracked. But my point is that I just literally kept it at, like, I literally kept my standards. And I was happy about that. Now I'm going to move on to the next couple, Ramses and Marissa. Let me read the comments. Facts. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. Ramses and Marissa. Now, one thing I will say about Ramses, I'm not going to talk about him too much because he gave me, first of all, those the little dread thing that he had, I couldn't handle it. I was not impressed. First of all, his presentation, his branding was not it for me. Just me personally. But what I will say is this. Although his branding was not good, I feel like oh my God, he was just a mess. And Marissa, literally, I felt like she really, really, really wanted to get married. You could tell, like, what he was saying wasn't making sense. Talking about, first of all, he was a sex addict. Like, he was too sexual, way too sexual for my liking. And the thing is, though, I will say, even in the pods, the reason she chose him was because of his sign and then the sexual signs. I don't know what it was. But then their relationship was based off of just knucking and bucking. I don't know. I call it that. And then once they started to really get to know each other, because that's what happens, then he started to feel uncomfortable. But then she started lowering her standards because she really wanted him. And you could tell, you could see it manifest. Like, just some of the things he was saying, talking about, oh, like, what did he say? He was, first of all, he was against her being in the military, which he knew already. How you gonna use somebody's story against them? I just didn't understand that part. Like, how the fact that they were in the military, like, she told him in the pods, I was in the military. And then once they got out of the pods and they started having conversations about it, he's like, oh, I just can't respect that you were in the military. Sir, what's there to respect? It already happened. Why? This is my thing. Don't let anyone ever use your past against you. Men do that. Be careful of a man who uses your past against you. And I will say this. If you have a past situation that has ever happened, and then you told this person, and you disclosed everything that happened, and then in the future, or whatever time frame happens, and he throws it back in your face, that should be a no-go. Because the fact that he was upset that she joined the military, knowing that she was in the military first, is obnoxious. Like, I don't understand that. And then he had a problem with her not having sex with him when she was on her period. Yeah, that's a problem. Everything he said, he didn't have a job. First of all, I don't even know what he did for a living. They said he had a job, but I never seen him get up to go to work. I saw Marissa getting up to go to school, and she's doing her law program. He ain't even work. He was a modern man. Talking about, oh, you don't believe in gender roles. Yeah, of course you don't. Of course you don't, because it's going to benefit you. Of course you don't. Of course you don't. And not saying that he should, but what I'm trying to say is that he was just a red flag walking. Red flag walking. He always just seemed so disinterested in having these deep conversations. It was just always like, I always felt like they talked in circles. Every time I saw their, like, when they cut to them, I couldn't, it's like my brain just, I couldn't understand them. I couldn't get, it just wasn't computing with them. I'm just being a troll. I'm sorry for being this. Who is this person? Don't move, focus. I'm almost done. You're okay. You gonna get blocked, sir. He gives me the ick. Yes, Dub Studio. Hold on. Where are these folks coming from? Chill. You gonna be in timeout for 24 hours. There we go. Bye. Thank you, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. So yeah, Ramses was one of those guys where it was like, and then he was divorced. Okay, so one thing I will tell you guys is I promote marriage on my channel. I do promote it to a certain extent. I promote marriage to the right person. Right person. Right person. I do not promote marriage to deadbeats. We're going to get on Tyler and Ashley soon. I do not promote marriage to racists. I do not promote marriage to man boys, man babies. I do not promote marriage to dusties and bums. I don't do that. I promote marriage to men who meet the standards. You know, when they have like these electrical vehicle testings, and you know, in every part of our society, there are standards for food. You got the I was about to say the US one. But the Canadian one, we got the Canadian health, you know, the food regulations. In the US, you guys have the FDA. Y'all got a lot of standards for things, for cars, automobile standards. We have standards for everything. If you do not meet this criteria, you cannot sell this in this country. If you do not meet this criteria, you cannot export or import in the country. You're going to have to go back, fix it, and then we're going to test it again to make sure it's up and running. Because if you want to enter this country, you need to meet the standards. We all need to do that in dating. Now, I'm already married. I understand that. But for you all, I think it's best to do that. Meet the standards. I'm telling you, they got to meet the standards. So have your list and criteria ready and check it off as you go. This man hasn't held a job in a year. That does not meet the standard. If everything else goes, okay, well, when you get a job, then we won't talk. But until then, no. Because actions speak louder than words. They could tell you all they want to tell you. Just like Ramses was telling Marissa all this stuff, all this good stuff, all that, oh, we gonna get married, da 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 da. And then what did he do at the end? Broke up with her right before the wedding. Blindsided her. Because his actions weren't aligning with his words. Talking about, oh, I spoke with... First of all, he's been divorced for years. Talking about, oh, yeah, we had our religious differences, whatever. That's when he was explaining it to her in the beginning. But then when he broke up with her, oh, yeah, I spoke with my cousin, baby daddy, husband, mama, whatever I spoke with. And they said that my ex-wife was really hurt when we got divorced, so I can't marry you, sir. Be for real. That's because she didn't... The standards. Should have checked them off. Should have checked them off. That's what y'all gonna have to do, because I'm telling you, baby, these men are out here and they are out for blood. They are out for blood. I'm not kidding. I'm not even joking. This is not even a joke, really. Seriously. You gotta protect yourself. I've been seeing so many things online, and I don't want to scare people, and I'm sure you guys have seen it too, but what I would say is that they are out. And they are in full force. And they have their own red pill content and a whole bunch of content, whatever they're consuming, it is not working. So you got to have those standards to protect yourself. You need to have those standards to protect yourself. I'm saying this as a fact right now. Please have those standards and abide by them, man. I'm telling you, this will save you a whole world of trouble. Dev Studio wrote, I have a theory that Ramses secretly hates professional, successful women. His ex-wife is a medical doctor, and he was working as a cashier at a department store. Oh! Oh, I don't need to laugh. I didn't notice, sis. I did not notice. Oh, that makes sense. You know what, sis? Dev Studio, I'm so happy you said that, sis, because that makes sense. The man didn't have he was a cashier? That's what I was saying. Why is a medical doctor with a cashier? This shouldn't even be a question. I shouldn't even be able to say that. Why? And you know what? One thing I will say, when I lived in Korea, I would say I learned one thing about Korean women. Their standards are standarding. Korean women do not play about their standards. I want to say Asian women as a whole, but what I will say is I don't know, but I'll just go by my experience, lived experience. When I was living in Korea, Korean women do not play about their standards. If they want a man who's a doctor, they will find that doctor. If they want an educated man, they will find an educated man. I have yet to see, and I know it exists, but it's a small percentage of people who are with Dusties that they take care. I have not seen it yet. I haven't seen it because they don't play. Well, first of all, Korea is one of the highest educated countries in the world. So pretty much everybody, even the garbage man, has a bachelor's degree. So that's number one. But number two, the standards are so high that the guys are forced to meet them. That's the gag. So you will not see a medical doctor in Korea with a cashier. That is like blasphemy to them. If I went to my friend's daughter and she was a medical doctor and I said, hey, I could hook her up with a guy. And she would be like, oh, yeah. Let me know what's his job. First thing they're going to ask you is what he do for a living. He's a cashier. She would have looked at me and been like, girl, you tried it. Get the hell out of my face. Don't play with me. They don't play about their standards. Their standards are here, and those men have to meet it. And that's why there's so many men who don't have wives over there. There's a loneliness epidemic. My friend sent me an article about that. Alana's got questions. That's one of my ride or die friends. Like, Alana's got questions. She got a YouTube channel. She sent me that. And men have a loneliness epidemic because the women are not settling. They said, oh, y'all really think y'all about to make us housewives like we in the 1940s again? When we doing all this, we're tired. It's over. It's a wrap. Let's get to the movement now. We're not getting married. Y'all don't want to change. We're not getting married now. They are standing on business. And we out here playing with people with two pigtails. Marissa crying over Ramsey's. When I tell you, when I saw her cry, my heart broke for her. Because I'm like, man, I was sad for her. But then at a certain point, I was like, pick yourself up. You have standards. The military had standards. You were in the military. The military has standards. They have standards for how you dress. You got to wake up and have your shoes a certain way, or else you're going to have to drop down and get 50. Military does not play about the standards. But you sitting here playing with this man, baby. This man who wants to have period sex all damn day. You playing about that. But then you ain't playing about your careers. I don't understand, ma'am. I don't. So my point is this. Marissa's standards needed to be higher because that right there, I'm late. What about bus drivers? I'm out. Good night. I don't know what about bus drivers? You know what? Bus drivers? Okay. Again, it's standards. Your standards are your standards. Your standards are your standards. However, what I will say is that if I went to school and I'm doing better for myself, and y'all, I dropped out of school at 19. So that means I went back to school like almost 10 years later. So I will say this. Sometimes people do better over time, right? And sometimes there are people you meet in one condition and they are going to be in another condition, but they have to want to get it out themselves. Now, what I will say is about bus drivers is this. If you're a bus driver, that means you like stability. Obviously, you're working for the city. You want to have a stable job. You want to have a stable income. Check in, check out, clock in, clock out, and you're done. However, if you're a woman that wants a man who's stable, who has a stable job, and who has the clock in, clock out mentality, bus driver, no problem. However, if you want to be mentally stimulated, if you want a man to make or earn this much money in the future, if you see yourself living in a really nice house, if you see yourself living in a different environment, if you see yourself buying clothes all the time or buying purses, Gucci, whatever, you see yourself traveling all the time, the bus driver ain't gonna give you that. I'll keep it real with y'all. He gonna give you stability. He gonna give you a household. He gonna give you, he's gonna give you that stable life. So if that's what you want, no problem. Because actually bus drivers do have to pass training and stuff like that. So nothing wrong with that. But my point is that your standards have to align. You gotta be equally yoked somewhere. So for me, personally, I, you know, again, personally speaking, would I marry a bus driver with my credentials and with what I want in the future? I wouldn't. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't. Not saying that it's wrong. Again, it's up to your standards. So for me, when I met Dom, that was one of the first things I asked him. I was like, well, what do you do? He said, I'm a medical social worker. Educated, check. What degree do you have? I have a bachelor's degree in social work, and I have a bachelor's degree, he did a double major, bachelor's degree in social work and physical education. Oh, double major, babe. Check. Oh, on top of that, he went to New Zealand and got a postgraduate certificate. Oh, you did higher learning? Check. How long you been working in social work? Oh, I've been working in social work for years. I worked at this hospital. I did this. Did this. Stable job, stable income. Love it. Potential, income potential is up there. I was like, okay, you know what? We both starting here. And mind you, when I met Dom, I was in grad school. So I was clocking in, getting my certs up, my degrees in. So then when I found out that we were both aligned, it was only up from there. Because then I know where we're going in the future. We're both headed in the right direction. I don't have to explain to him why saving is important. I don't have to explain to him why we should have a, this fund, or why we should invest in this. I don't have to explain to him how, things work, how to have, I don't have to explain that to him. He already knows. He has that mindset. Same. We had the same educational mindset. And then on top of that, we had the same value system. And then we're like, okay, we believe in this. A marriage should look like this. A marriage should have this. We believe in this. Okay. Standards. Check. And one thing about my husband is his actions always align with his word. And the reason for that is, okay, that's one thing I would say about getting a higher education that I think that people don't give credit to, is that it really teaches you how to be disciplined. Because the fact that you don't got nobody telling you how to do your work, when to do your work, like, you have to do it yourself. You have to be self-motivated enough to get up in the morning, go to class, research, write your papers, stay up all night doing all that stuff. You have to have a certain type of discipline for that. And I feel that that's lacking a lot in a lot of our societal, fabric, our social fabric. People don't know how to be disciplined. And so when I saw my husband was disciplined in his life, I knew that we could go places, because I knew that he had it in him, and I knew that his actions lined up with his word. Now, am I saying every educated man is disciplined? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that from what I saw and what I observed, the standards were standarding. And I didn't settle. So then I was like, okay, you know what? This man, from the beginning, he'd be like, I'm gonna come here at this time. He came at this time. Till now, we've been married almost 4 years. My husband has never, ever, and I can say that in front of the Lord. I will say that in front of God. My husband has never not matched his actions and his words. I've never had to ever doubt him 1 second. And he's never had to doubt me 1 second. And the reason for that is because we met here. We were equal. And then it only went up from here. Now, if we was here, so that boyfriend was right. He was too low for me. Now, he was saying it like I was the problem. No, you were the problem, sir, because you were here and I was here. So I should have had you meet me here. That was what I had to learn the hard way. But I learned it, and I want to tell you guys so that you don't have a higher learning curve like me, right? So someone wrote, delusional women are everywhere, including YouTube. Okay, J.L. Wiseman. I'm not delusional, boo. Delusionally married, sir. Thank you. I find it so hard to date now. People are either crazy or asking for things that they don't have themselves. Yes. Okay, so that's true. That is very true. And that's another way that you can kind of filter people out, is if they're saying they want something and they don't have it or they don't follow it, then you shouldn't be with them because their actions are not lining up with their words. That's like me saying, I want an educated man. I want him to make 6 figures. And then I'm nowhere close to that. So and again, I know everyone's standards are different, right? But for me personally, if I'm going to expect something, like if I expect my man to have a 6-pack, I think I need to have one too. or be close to it. Because I can't expect that, and then I gotta be real with y'all. You know, y'all might not like me for saying that, but it's true. I gotta live by what I say. If I want my man to work, I gotta be working. How the hell I'm gonna have my man working? I'm sitting at home eating Cheetos all day, or I'm sitting here at home doing whatever I'm doing. That doesn't make sense. Like, if I want something, it has to align. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're finding it hard to date people and they're requiring things that they don't have, I wouldn't date that person, because why are you expecting me to have it but you don't have it? That's like the pot calling the kettle black. Trump 2024. Oh, yeah, blocked. Oh, no. Ryan, you getting yeah, I love this. 24 hours. Bye. Okay, so to answer your question, this guy, JT, the wise man, delusional women are everywhere, including YouTube. So, that's not being delusional, y'all. Don't listen to men like that. They will call you delusional. They will call you, like, picky. They will say, oh, like, you don't deserve better. You deserve this, especially if you look like this, okay? Especially if you look like this. They're going to call you everything under the sun, okay? They're going to tell you that your standards are too high. Let them standards be high. Because that guy that told me my standards were too high, yeah, years later, guess what happened? That's what I'm saying. Like, my standards were so high, right? You ain't gonna meet nobody with them standards. 34, boo. Got married at 34. And I'm not saying that that's the prize. What I'm trying to say is that I'm happy I kept my standards, because then I found somebody who met them. And even if I didn't find somebody who met them and I was talking to you guys as a single woman, I would be so happy that I didn't get myself in a situation where I had to compromise my values just to meet someone else's standards. No, I want to meet my standards. I want them to align. So no, we're not being delusional. We're being safe and protected, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're settling and then you're not living the life that you should have because you made a decision off of fear or off of like scarcity mentality that there's nothing. The what is it called? The sunken fallacy or something? Cost sunken fallacy, where because you think that the situation is going to be the way that it is, you would rather stay in that situation than change what it is that you need to change to get better. If I feel like I don't deserve a studio apartment, I don't deserve it, then I'm going to work towards getting a house, or even a 2-bedroom, whatever I want, right? If I feel like I shouldn't drive a Honda, then I'm going to get whatever car I want. Why is that such a hard thing? That's not delusional. That's having standards. And I think that we need to put that in our vocabulary now, because like I said, every country has standards. Every industry has standards. Everything has standards. But then why can't we have standards in dating? Be for real. Somebody said, what are you guys talking about? Oh, we're just talking about not settling. Don't settle. So that's what I was talking about. You can catch the replay. Now, I'm only going to stay for a little bit longer. I did have actually a whole lot more to say, but I think I'm going to leave it at that, because I got to get on Tyler and Ashley next, and then we're going to wrap it up. I learned don't argue with people over their desires, but I hope your marriage stays steady. Well, it is going to stay steady because we have the same value systems. This is the thing. Okay, I'm going to say this because people always say, well, you never know and you never this. You don't know. Absolutely. That's why you have insurance, right? But at the same time, I am very confident in the person that I chose, and I am very confident in the marriage that I have. And I know that when we decided to get married, we were older. That's number one. And statistics, y'all. Statistics. Let me see if I can find it for y'all. But basically, the stat said that the older you are when you get married, the more educated you are when you get married. So I'm going to talk about that the next live. The more educated you are and the older you are, the better off your decisions will be, because we don't just jump into anything. Or at least most of us don't. Because if I stayed single up in the year until the year I met my husband at 33, got married at 30. No, sorry. I met my husband at 34, got married at 35. At that point, I already done lived life. I already knew what I wanted. And if he didn't fit those standards, then I was just going to wait. Either be single, like I said, I was going to stay single, and I was content. I was happy. I was like, you know what? If this dating thing don't work out for me, I'm going to be fine with my standards by myself, and I'm going to meet my own standards. And I'll be happy with that. But I would rather do that than to settle for somebody and put myself in a situation where that's not good for me, that's dangerous, financially, spiritually, and physically in some cases. Because statistics show that marriages, I'm telling you, people who are not equally yoked, there's a jealousy factor here. There's a lot of successful women. Y'all need to just look on YouTube. Not even just YouTube, anywhere on the news. You'll always hear about this successful woman. She had a business. She had all that. And then her man just unalived her. And what was he doing with his life? Nothing. Usually the bottom barrel. Or he took her to the cleaners. Or she just had, I'm telling you, these unequally yoked marriages, especially for women, is very dangerous. So you have to make sure that that person meets your standards and not just get married to somebody just to have a ring or just to be like, I'm a wife now. No. There has to be some type of leveling up there. There has to be some type of level up. I'm telling y'all the stats. I'm not just talking out of emotion, and I don't want to preach too much. These are statistics, y'all. These are statistics about the marriage gap. The more educated you are, the better off your marriage will be. That is a fact. Most people that are in bad relationships or that have negative turnout for their marriage, they are usually not as educated. They usually don't have that. Or they're unequally yoked. I'm telling y'all, the stats are here and it's staggering. And I'm telling y'all, when I did the research, I was shocked. I will go through the research next week because we didn't have enough time. I was yapping too much today. But I'm telling y'all, this is stuff I'm talking about that's not just opinion. It is something that can be proven. All you got to do is research. Research is your friend. So don't let people shame you into being delusional or saying you're delusional. No, you're not delusional. You're being safe, especially as a woman in this world. Value, ethics, and loyalty are key factors. Saying what you mean and meaning what you say is so important. Sis, preach. I'm telling y'all. I agree. People be losing their lives choosing the wrong person. Amen. Nick, nice hair. Thank you, Nick. Yes, people are effing around. And you know what? All the women are successful, y'all. Business owners, doctors, lawyers. We have even the one recently, business owner. I'm telling y'all, it is across the board. And when you see who they were dealing with, you look at the mugshot and I'm like, how did she even date him? How did he even get through? How? And it's because the standards, we are too flexible with our standards, man. I'm telling y'all, we're too flexible. Don't feel like you're being picky. I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, it's easier said than done because you're married. I was you if you're single. I was you. I was just like you. But I decided for myself that I wanted better for myself because I was like, no, I don't want to put myself in a situation in the future because if not for me, for my future legacy, if I had one. I kept thinking to myself, I was like, look, right now I'm thinking about myself. But if I were to have children, I want to have it with a man who actually appreciates that and who's marriage minded and who wants that legacy, who wants longevity, who wants to be there. Are we perfect? No. We're not perfect by any means. But at least we started from somewhere, and that's equal. At least my standards were met. I can say that with my whole heart. Even if Dom and I, if anything ever happened to us, I can say with my whole heart that I'm okay with the outcome because at least I know that he met my standards. I did not settle for that. So then whatever happens, I don't feel any regrets because I didn't settle for my husband. I didn't. And I don't want you guys to do that either if you're single. So now, we're going to get to Tyler and Ashley, y'all, before I log off. Oh, Taylor and Garrett too. Okay, let's get to Taylor and Garrett real quick. I think lust and attraction play a part of the red flags. Unstoppable, undefeated. Yes, they do. Lust and attraction, because people, you know what? People are lonely, and I get it, because we don't have the ecosystems that we used to, right? So I'm gonna reveal my age now. As a millennial, you know, I was born in '86. So when I was younger, it was easier to meet people, connect with people. You actually had conversations. Now everything is so socially constructed on the social media. Everybody flexing, everybody doing stuff. There's not, like, it's hard to form real relationships, real friendships, real things like that, right? So people are so much into hookup culture that is overtaking the dating scene. You can't even find, like, even online dating has been saturated by that. You can even pay for online dating. One of my homegirls was saying about she paid a membership and she was still getting them friends with benefits requests or down to F requests or whatever, right? So it's gotten so bad. And I will say it's because, one, social, you know, like we talked about earlier, the value system's so different now, right? And also it's just everyone's trying to get everything out of, like, whatever, everyone's being, I don't know, there's just a lot going on. But what I will say is that keep your standards, because don't feel like you have to settle, especially for less than what you deserve. And I just want you guys to win. That's what I'm saying. Whether it's alone, in a relationship, at work, in school, whatever you're doing, I want you to win, and I want you to win great, and I want you to have standards even for yourself. Even for yourself, you should have standards, right? So that way, at least a few of us, even if we're in the minority, we can at least bring up a new generation that will see that and be inspired by that. Someone wrote, Dev Studio, I like Taylor and Garrett, but I don't know, something about them feels off to me. Him not moving to San Diego might be a real issue down the line. Ma'am, I was just getting to that. Let's get to Taylor and Garrett, and then Tyler and Ashley, and then I'm done, because I know it's really late for you guys out where you guys are at. So Taylor and Garrett. So at first I liked them. I do like them. I love, first of all, Taylor, I love her. I love Taylor. I love all the women, to be honest with you. I love them. But I especially love Taylor. And I actually really liked Alex too, up until she, you know, but I still like her. I like all of them. But I love Taylor because I felt like of all the women, she was the one who kind of put Garrett a little bit, like, she made him accountable. Now the problem is my sis dropped the ball a little bit. I'm gonna tell you where she dropped the ball. But she was getting there. She was starting to be, I was like, okay, Taylor, I see you. And then after that, I was like, oh no. Now, Garrett's mama, when I first saw the episode when she met the parents, I didn't like that. Y'all know, I grew up around, you know, I grew up in America. And I also, you know, I've been in Canada. I know some, I don't want to call it racism, but I know microaggressions when I see them. And I know what I saw. And I remember it was so crazy because Dom was watching it with me because we were both watching Love. Because, you know, when I watch Love is Blind, he be acting like he not watching, but he watches it. You know, he be peeking like, what you watching? But anyways, he was watching that episode with me. And I was just like, why is she crying like that? This woman looked like, you would have thought somebody died. And I just didn't like how they were receiving Taylor. I just felt like it was off. And that, my spidey senses went off. And exactly verbatim what I told Dom, I was like, I think she doesn't like the fact that she's Asian. Right off rip. I already knew that. Just the way she was acting and crying, and then he had to talk about her accolades, like her educational, oh, she went to Johns Hopkins, she did da-da-da-da. And it was like, you didn't feel that warmth in the house. Like, I just felt like she was just sitting there crying. Like, first of all, if I walked into Dom's house and his mama started bursting into tears crying, that would make me feel very uncomfortable. And I don't know Taylor's threshold with that, but me, that's a red flag. And I'm ready to be like, we out. We out. And I'm talking about me. I'm out. Now, when I met Dom's parents, thankfully, they were not like that. And I think because Dom prepared them very well. He was like, you know, she's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. And I think that they had a lot of conversations. Yeah, she's not Korean, but she's been in Korea for a long time, da da da. And he prepared them to the point where they were comfortable with it. Well, obviously they wanted to meet me. That's number one. Also, they're just good people, so they were amazing. And even when they met me, they just hugged me and with open arms, no hesitation, because they wanted the best for their son, right? Now, I understand the process of Love is Blind is very, it's speedy. It goes fast. I get it. I understand that. However, the mom blubbering and crying all over the place, that was just weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Taylor and Gary, if you ever watch this. I just felt like that was weird. Because I don't understand why the crying, why the tears. It was just really giving, like, I don't know. I don't want to say this because I don't want to be mean. But I will say is that it was such an attention-seeking act. Because by her crying, it took the attention away from them actually meeting Taylor. And I felt like it was just a weird dynamic where the mama's boy, I don't like that stuff. But anyways, I gave it, even with that, I gave him grace. Because I was like, you know what? He's a man. He's separate from his parents. I don't want to judge him based off his parents. But then you got to put that in your mind that his upbringing might be a little off. First, he lives in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So I was like, yeah. Okay. That's already. And I'm going to get, oh, by the way, in the future, because I want to, next live, I'm going to talk about these stats. And then in another live, I do want to talk about interracial relationships and the red flags you should look out for, especially when you marry, interracial marriages, I should say. So now, Garrett and Taylor are together, and everything seems okay. However, between him texting the ex-girlfriend texting him, and then him doing that thing where he was like, oh, it was nothing, I just liked the message, and then eventually he admitted to Tyler that it was more than that, and she didn't know, and then he is good at manipulation. He's a good manipulator. And that gave me another red flag. Now, this is the thing. He's educated. He has a job. So that's why I said the standards got to be there, because then sometimes you could get fooled because you're thinking, oh, he's educated. He got this. Oh, he's checking it off. But no, you got to meet the rest of the criterias. I don't want a man who gaslights me. I don't want a man who manipulates me into thinking things and trying to argue with me about what I saw or what I heard. It came out his mouth and he's still arguing with her like, that's not what I meant. Sir, you said it in 4K. And then you want her to believe that you didn't, and that you meant this, and you didn't know the boundary. Please, please, please do not insult people's intelligence. She let that go because, the wedding, again, she tolerated because she's like, you know what? This wedding coming up, I don't want to be embarrassed. Be embarrassed. If you feel weird and you feel uncomfortable about something, be embarrassed. It don't matter if many people are coming. Cut it off. It's going to benefit you in the end. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road, whatever people be saying. He had told her in the beginning that he was going to move to San Diego. Because he's like, you know what? She's like, that's one of my standards. I really want to move to San Diego to raise my kids around my family. And, that's my breaking point. So if you can't meet that, I believe she would have left, to be quite honest with you. Or she would have been like, you know what? We can't do this. But then he was like, yeah, I'm open to meeting, I'm open to living in San Francisco or San Diego? San Diego, yeah. I'm open to living in SoCal, San Diego. And I understand that. And, he's hyping her up. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. 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 Okay. He met her family. Yeah, we're moving to We're moving to California. We're doing this. Now, mind you, his mama was crying up in Virginia because she didn't want her son to leave. But I thought that he was his own man. So I was like, okay, you know what? Garrett got a little backbone. Okay. It looks like he just needed. That's why I said I didn't want to judge him because of his parents, because maybe he's different from them, right? But no, he's not. So at the reunion, when Vanessa Lachey brought up the move, after they got married, he swindled her because he said that he didn't feel comfortable anymore about moving to California. So imagine, before they got married, that was one of her breaking, her boundaries, not boundaries, her standards. One of her, what do they call it? Non-negotiables. She wanted to move to California to raise her family. And he said he's fine with that. But as soon as they got married, he switched up. Y'all got to be careful with that, because let me tell you, I'm a school y'all on this a little bit. And most of y'all, some of y'all gonna know already. Let me tell you, he had already done it before. You see, if she had that list of the standards, she would have seen that he had done it before. And she should have known to look out for that. Because when he lied to her, saying that, oh, his ex-girlfriend texted him. So the lie was this. He said that his ex texted him and that he only liked the message. Then fast forward to when they had this little party of the meetups or whatever, cast meetup BS that they do. Then he told Tyler, so that's one of his friends, he told Tyler, and Taylor was there, his fiance was at the table with, so it was Tyler and Ashley, Taylor and Garrett. Garrett's talking to Tyler, and he said, oh yeah, like she messaged me, but like I answered her and said, oh, I'm with my fiance now, like you shouldn't message me anymore. Slow up, sir. You told the girl that you only liked the message, and she said she felt uncomfortable with that because she's been cheated on in the past. And then a few hours later, you admitted that it wasn't just a like, you actually responded to the message and you communicated with the girl. And then you tried to say, oh, it means the same thing. Okay. So now when it comes to California, oh yeah, I'm gonna move to California. Oh yeah, I'm happy. After they get married, oh no, I can't move to California anymore. You change, switch up. The switch up. It changed. Just like it did with the lie. The lie, he changed his words. He changed, oh, that's not what I meant. Da, 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 da. Same thing with California. Oh, I can't do it anymore. He switched up. She should have known the switch up was coming. So now, because she's already all in, because some men do that. They wait till they reel you in. And that's why I say, do not have kids, yo. Don't have kids too early. Don't give too much too early. Because sometimes they want to reel you in and get you comfortable. And they know that you're going to tolerate it then because obviously you have a child. Oh, we already bought a house together. I can't leave now. Oh, we already got a child together. I can't leave now. We got our finances together. I can't leave now. And then he going to do what he want to do. And then you're sitting here compromising and it's all benefiting him because he didn't have to compromise anything. He's still living in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They're probably moving to Washington, D.C., which is not even that far from there. So he got what he wanted. He got a beautiful wife. And he got what he wanted out of it. But she didn't. She compromised. And she's still compromising. And like the Dev Studio said, we'll see how it plays out in the future. But there'll definitely be resentment. Maybe not. I don't want to put that on them. But there might be some resentment because she's the one who had to give up something. She's the one who had to move to be there. And it's to be closer to his family. Lord knows what's going to happen in that town when they have kids. Preach, girl. Thank you. Having children will lock you down in a disastrous relationship for, I love the forever. Yes. Exactly. That's why I don't understand the narrative. When people be saying the logic ain't logic. And that's why critical thinking is important. When people say, oh, marriage is more riskier than having a kid. In what delusional world is that? So you're telling me having a kid? No, they say marriage is more of y'all know what I'm talking about. They be saying marriage is more of a commitment than having a kid. Having a kid is a forever thing. People think when you have a kid and the kid turns 18 that y'all not gonna, that person is tied to you forever. Forever. Even in death. That is still their parent. Whether you put it on a birth certificate or not. You always gonna have to remember that person. Because you see your child. That's what my point is. That child is a souvenir of the relationship. Just think about it that way. That child is a souvenir. Now, back to Taylor and Garrett. I want to see how things play out when they have children. Because imagine raising children in that kind of environment. In the sense that, like, I'm talking about, first of all, Fredericksburg. I have a whole life I have set up for people in interracial marriages or relationships. Y'all got to be careful with that. be very careful. Especially like, you know, when you have like parents that are not really accepting of your partner, even though they act like they did on TV. I believe Gary's parents did not want him to be with an Asian woman. I stand by that. Now, and she's not even fully Asian. She's half Asian on top of that. And he even called it out, because I remember, I forgot to say in the pods, he was trying to figure out what because she said, oh yeah, like, I don't want to reveal too much, but like, I really want to reveal my mom's name, but I don't want to reveal too much, basically insinuating that she's not fully white. And he's like, oh, the first thing he said was, oh, I'm not used to not dating white women. First of all, sir, why does that matter if you're on Love is Blind? Love is Blind. That was a problem, because why would you get on Love is Blind and expect to meet and marry a white woman? It could have been an Asian woman, it could have been a black woman, it could have been anybody. Love is Blind. You're on the wrong show. You're on the wrong show. Anyway, point is that, yeah, I'll have a whole segment on that, of being careful in interracial marriages and relationships, because people think that the grass is greener on the other side, but there are still things to look out for, especially when you have a man who grew up in a certain environment and holds certain stereotypes about people, where his worldview is very limited because of where he grew up. And if he wants to date interracially, it becomes an issue. I will say that. Now let's move on to our grand finale. Tyler and Ashley, y'all, I was so disappointed. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I was so disappointed. People are delulu Romy. Very, 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 very. Omen, I don't know what you wrote, but you lucky it's in Arabic, so I'm gonna let it go. But I hope he says something nice. Now, Tyler and Ashley, I really liked them in the beginning, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I grew up in the church, so whatever I'm about to say is off of lived experience. As soon as he started praying with her in the pods, I knew something was off. I hate to say it, y'all. It's not because he wanted to pray. That's not my issue. But he knew that's what she wanted to hear. So he basically got her, like, he had her figure it out. Because this man, when I tell y'all this man is a manipulator, he's the worst. He is the worst contestant on Love is Blind, in Love is Blind history. The worst. The absolute worst. This man started praying with her. He started, like, you know, like just getting her emotionally riled up. And he knew how to push her emotional buttons. He knew she was desperate to get married, because the way she was like, oh yeah, like, you know, usually guys, da, 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 da. First of all, ma'am, you were sharing way too much. Your desperation was there. But I gave her grace, because I was like, man, you know, she's on Love is Blind. Maybe she feels like this is her person, so I get it. But now this is where the red flag, the flag started pinging for me when I was watching, was when he was talking about, oh, we're gonna have many babies. I said, what? Y'all just met and y'all already talking about babies? He's like, oh, how many kids you want to? First of all, hold up, slow up, roll up. Y'all need to get to know each other first before y'all start talking about babies. I was like, why is he talking about babies? But then I kind of was like, you know what? Let's see how this show plays out. So come to find out, Tyler has a whole double life. Whole double life. So along with the standards list I told y'all to have, do background checks. Please normalize doing background checks on people, because sis did not ask the right questions, and sis is in the sunken place right now. We need to have a moment of prayer for our sister Ashley, because she really is in the sunken place. And I was there one time. I was there once. So I understand. I get it. But this is not going to turn out good for you at all. Because of all the couples, and one thing I forgot to mention about Marissa and Ramses before I get back to Tyler and Ashley, is that even after he broke her heart, did all that stuff, she still was begging to be with him a few months later. And she asked him, are you sure you want to end the relationship? He said, no. First of all, don't beg somebody. That should be on the standards. Don't ever beg someone. Don't let someone tell you no twice. And that should be for everything. Jobs, relationships, whatever it is. Do not let someone tell you no more than once. Once is enough. That no is a no. That's it. Ain't no going back from there. Okay, so that's that. Now let's get back to Tyler and Ashley. This man had a whole double life. So come to find out, he got a whole baby mama. Not only a baby mama, but this was, so first he said he was a sperm donor. So remember that episode where she sat down with him and then he was like, oh yeah, like he didn't tell her that he had kids and that he was a sperm donor. Now, remember, Love is Blind was filmed last year. So they've been married a year now. So she didn't even ask the right questions. Like, I don't know what conversation they had behind the scenes, but on camera, it seemed as if she was blindsided by the sperm donor. That should have already been enough for her to break that engagement. He lied. He misrepresented himself. He was a fraud. From there, I would have been like, nope. And you know what? It's not like it happened after they got married. They did not even get married yet. This was before. So now, she knew that he was a sperm donor. And he didn't reveal that from the times that they were in the pods. That's an automatic, you're out. Lying and misrepresentation should be an automatic for y'all. I don't care who it is. If they say something and it's not the truth, and it's misrepresentation or it's a lie, and considered fraud, it would be considered fraud in the court of law. That is an automatic, you're out. There's no coming back from that because he had time. This man had hours. He had years. He had time to tell her from the moment that she found out. They were already post-Mexico. They were already living together, cohabitating. And he didn't reveal he had kids or he was a sperm donor. That should have been one of the first conversations he had with her. And the fact that he misrepresented himself and she knew that before she got married, that's more than settling. That's negligence. That's negligence. Because you knew that that person falsely represented himself. That's like a man saying he's one career and he's a whole nother one. That's misrepresentation. I consider that fraud. You're out. That's like somebody saying they make this much a year and you come to find out they make way less than that. I'm not talking about even a little margin. Why are you lying? You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. Why are you lying? Why do you need to lie? Why do you need to lie to the person that's supposed to be the person that you're spending the rest of your life with? If you can't even be honest with that person, where are we going with this? Is this a joke? I don't understand. So now he lied to the girl. And she's sitting here talking about, oh, she took him back. She still went through with this marriage. Now, we on the back end, remember, we're watching the show, but on the back end in social media, one thing about social media, social media, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all get me caught up in social media, man. Listen, I'm making a disclaimer right now. Please, guys, I'm on your side. I don't want no smoke because y'all gonna come out with things from the things I did in kindergarten. Man, the internet is undefeated. You know what? If ever I need to investigate something, I'm just going to put it on the internet. Put it on my channel, and somebody's going to find it because this is crazy. This man had a whole baby mama. Not only a whole baby mama, he was technically not lying when he said, wait, he was sperm donor for the first kid. So basically, his baby mama, Bri, was married to another woman. So they're a lesbian couple. He was friends with Bri. I don't know how they met each other, but apparently Bri's in the military and her ex-wife was in the military. Deshawn, I believe her name is. So they got married. So Deshawn and Bri are married and they decided they want to have a child together. So now Bri asked Tyler if he could be the donor for them. And now Deshawn, all of this is on Jessie Woo's channel. I don't know if y'all know who Jessie Woo is. I love her. Jessie Woo's channel on YouTube. Y'all go watch her. She had the whole interview, everything breakdown. Her and Ricky, story time with Ricky on TikTok. They got it on lock. If y'all want to hear the backstory, like more extensive stuff, watch their channel. So now, Bri is married to Deshawn. They asked Tyler to be their sperm donor. Bri and Deshawn used turkey basters. Y'all, this story is crazy. Just saying that out loud first. Bri and who's saying stay? Stay what? Hold on. What you talking about? I'm talking about Love is Blind. Okay. Stay what? Stay black? What does that mean? You know what? I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna remove it. But if you say something else, I'm gonna block you. Okay. So now Bri and Deshaun are married. And they asked Tyler to be, well, Bri asked Tyler to be the sperm donor. Deshaun wasn't really with it. She wasn't feeling it because she wanted an actual sperm donor from the bank. But then she was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to do whatever my wife wants. So now, they were about to use a turkey baster and it didn't work. Y'all know a turkey baster. I got one here. Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever watched The Game, the TV show. But anyways, they did one episode where they were talking about girls who would sleep with athletes and use turkey basters. Anyways, that's a whole thing. So now, the turkey baster didn't work. And then Deshaun went away to California on a trip. While she was away, something happened. Because all of a sudden she came back and Bri was pregnant. And then she said that she knew right then and there Bri and Tyler were messing around. Because the timelines weren't timelining. And she knew the turkey baster method. It wasn't adding up. So they were sleeping together. They slept together. But she was like, you know what? She was tolerant. She was like, you know what? She's just going to believe whatever her wife is saying. So now while Bri is pregnant, she starts getting clingy and wants to be with Tyler all the time. She lets Tyler come to the house. So the arrangement was that they were going to have Tyler be their donor. And then he was going to be like one of those fathers that's not really a dad. And it was just, the child was going to be raised by the two women. But Deshaun found out that they were sleeping around. And then eventually they kicked her out the house. They said she left, but she's saying she got kicked out of the situation. And then on top of that, not only did he kick her out, her name was on the birth certificate when the child was born. Because remember, they were a lesbian couple looking for a donor. But then what ended up happening was that he sued her, he took her to court to get custody of the child. Because remember, she's no longer with the wife. So they ended up getting a divorce. And she wanted to keep custody of the child. But then he ended up, because he's the biological father, he ended up getting custody of that first child. Now, how did this happen? So remember, they got a child together. And then all of a sudden, she's pregnant with twins. So by this time, Deshaun was gone. So she's no longer in a lesbian relationship anymore. So Tyler and her are together, and they had those kids. They had a natural conception with those children. They naturally conceived these children, the twins. So now they got 3 kids together. One was a sperm donor, we want to call it that. But then he had the other 2. So him and Bri, they were still together. She still identifies as a lesbian. Y'all, this is craziness. But I got to tell the story how it is. She identifies as a lesbian, but then her and Tyler, I don't know how they was getting it on. But they were still together. I guess there was an exception there. So now in the midst of all this mess, there was threesomes going on. He was sleeping with other people's wives. It was a mess. And then, by the way, I forgot to add, while Bri was pregnant, remember, Bri was with Deshaun when she got pregnant with the first kid, and Tyler was just supposed to be their sperm donor. He was engaged to somebody else. And they went to the baby shower. Imagine, he went to the baby shower talking about, oh, that's my homegirl's baby shower. Whole time, the ex-fiance, didn't even know that that was his kid that was in her belly. This man is a liar. He's been lying for years. So now, she found out that that was his kid. He's engaged, y'all. Didn't even tell her that, hey, I helped my homegirl have a kid. She found out, and she broke it off with him. So now him and the baby mama, remember, she broke it off with him. Deshaun left. Her ex-wife left. Now they together. Raising these kids like one big happy family. Y'all, I can't make this up. So now, right before Love is Blind is being filmed, up until Love is Blind being filmed, this man was an active father, according to Bri's mom. And then once Love is Blind was ready to be filmed, oh, by the way, while he was with Bri, he was still openly seeing other people. Because girls came out the woodwork talking about he owed them 10K, 20K. This man is a swindler, okay? I don't know how. Obviously got on Love is Blind because they wanted good TV. You can't tell me that they didn't do background checks. These people are diabolical. But anyways, to continue now. They get together. Yeah, while they're together, he's still sleeping with other people doing homosexual stuff. Y'all know homosexual, what that means, right? He sleeps for people for house to stay, whatever. And now, he gets on Love is Blind. He's nowhere to be found. Those kids don't exist anymore. So now fast forward to him and Ashley. So he tells her, his story is that these kids were sperm donor and he was just helping his friend out. Now she gets to the reunion. Guys, they get married. So they got married. They do all that. And I'm like, during the whole wedding, I was so uncomfortable because I'm like, his mom is there. She met his friends. She's met everyone. And no one has the, just, no one's going to say the truth. No one feels guilty. No one feels convicted to tell the truth. I don't understand. Did he have them on gag orders? Because his mom was there. And so he meets her dad. He meets Ashley's dad. Come to find out, her dad was in jail for most of her life. So she didn't even get raised with her dad. So she already has daddy issues. She's not even healed. We're going to get on a live about healing too. But that's not what this is about. So now this man is lying to her face. She ends up marrying him. And now she's at the reunion. This is where we fast forward. So remember, all of this stuff came out on social media. Everything. And she still sat at the reunion talking about, oh, who knows more, me or social media. She basically doubled down, saying that Tyler is, a good man. Her mama's sitting here clapping. And they're co-signing each other. And she's basically saying, hey, I married him. And I know who I married. I know what's going on. And you guys don't know more than me. And basically, he basically got on TV during the reunion and said that those kids were not his, he was a sperm donor, basically. And that he didn't raise those kids. When we have whole pictures of him with the kids, there are pictures out there. There's testimony from witnesses. And I feel sad for Ashley. I feel very sad for her. Because her standards were lowered so much just to find love. And you can tell that she really wanted it. And she said she's a ride or die, red flag. Why are you riding and dying for someone that's not yourself? You should be riding and dying. If anyone's going to be a ride or die, be a ride or die for you. And I'm saying this as a married woman. I'm a ride or die for myself. I'm a ride or die for myself. I'll be a ride or die for my kids. I might ride or die for my husband here and there, but we ain't doing that. No, I'm riding and dying for myself and my maker. I'm riding or dying for God. Because when you ride or die, that's when you overlook things. You overlook things because you're so here. You're here like, oh, I'm going to stick by him. I'm going to stick beside him. I'm going to do all these things. This man lied to your face and didn't even disclose. He misrepresented himself. And you still married him. The desperation can't be that much. Standards. Please have the list. Put misrepresentation on the list. If they misrepresented themselves on the non-negotiables, he should be gone. So now she's married to him. And y'all want to know what's going to happen? Find out on the next live. Because now that she's married to him, she's tied to him legally. So if he has child support debt, they got child support debt. If he owes money, they owe money. That's why he was so fast to run to the wedding chapel. That's why he's so fast to get married. He was so quick because he knows. He knows one now. He's tied to her. She has something he wants. But her standards were lowered and his standards, he met his standards. That's what he wanted. So now he can go on about denying these kids all he wants to, but baby, this is one thing I love about our system. The paperwork does not lie. Documents do not lie. Birth certificates do not lie. So that's why when people lie to your face, and just read a book, get the research yourself. I'm telling you, everything is out there. It's up to you to use it how you want to. But I will tell you one thing. The legal system, it will come after you when you need to. Because tell me, them kids got a daddy and it's him. She could say all she wants to on Love Is Blind. I stand beside him. He doesn't know he's a sperm. Okay. Well, he has a court date. Eventually, that's going to come out. You're tied to him, ma'am. That's why you got to be careful who you marry. That's why I said don't lower your standards. Because his debt becomes your debt. His issues become your issues. It's not a game. That's why standards are so important. Because now we're watching in real time how lowering your standards can affect you. And she's gonna be stressed her whole marriage, because that marriage started off on in the most deceitful way. So there's no, like, I'm sorry, I don't think any blessing can come out of that. Unfortunately, at least not for her. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. I don't want to put that on people's marriage. But what I will say is something that starts off in that way, it's not going to end in my opinion, because he hasn't changed. He's still lying. He still lied up until they got married. He's been a fraud. He's been a liar. He's not going to change. So whoever you marry, how you met him is how you met him. If he wants to change, he'll change for himself. But obviously he didn't change, because he didn't even tell her the truth. He's still a liar. So whatever happens after this, she's always going to have to watch her back, because he's never going to tell her the truth. He already has shown that he's incapable of telling the truth. So again, standards low. And she didn't ask him any questions, no follow-up questions, no nothing. You were a sperm donor. All she said was, have you met those kids yet? No, that's it. Well, anyways, that's what was on TV. A quick background check. Okay, you know what? I'm going to hold off on this engagement. I need to find out the truth. When I find out the truth, if I find out, first of all, I wouldn't have even hold on the engagement. We would have been done, because you misrepresented yourself. So that's already done. But if you still want to be tolerant, that's what you should have done, is went and got an investigation done. If he says he got one kid and all of a sudden you see 2 or 3 pop out, why are you even talking to this person? He is a liar, a fraud. Anyway, my point is this. I've been on here for 2 hours. Wow, time goes by fast when I'm talking to y'all. But what I will say this, I'm going to conclude this with this statement. Please do not lower your standards. Please, everyone who's watching this live, if you ever see this video, I beg you, don't lower your standards. And don't let people make you feel like, don't let people shame you into lowering your standards. Because if you do, you're only hurting yourself in the end. Ashley is hurting herself. She's hurting, first of all, she's hurting her image. Her branding is off. No matter what she comes, because you're going to see it in real time. Everyone else is going to get brand deals. Once Ashley gets a brand deal, if she goes on that, if she opens her camera and starts going in, people are going to be in the comments dogpiling on her, because they're going to expose it. Because she's complicit to the lie. Because everyone was hoping that she, by some grace of God, she got away from that. But she's doubling down. Now she's gonna double down with him. He's enemy of the state. She's enemy of the state. That's why it matters not to settle, because whoever your husband is a representation of you and your future generation. I know Don, when he walks out them doors, I don't have to be worried about him and his image. And I'm not saying image is everything. What I'm trying to say is that it's a representation of you, your character. Who you marry is a reflection of you. If you marry somebody who is a liar, then how can people trust you to tell the truth when your husband, if you're sleeping with a liar, with an enemy of, like, why are you doing that? Like, why? It just makes no sense to me. Anyways, point is that your branding matters. She's going to have a hard time finding brand deals. So first of all, she messed up her capital, her bag. She messed up the future bag she got, because it's all, her marriage is controversial. It's all controversial, all under fraud, lies, deceit. That's what people will know her for. When they see Ashley, they're going to see what Tyler did to her and how she kind of responded to that situation by being complicit. That's number one. Number two, she's hurting her future kids. Because by her denying those other kids, she's hurting the chances for her future kids to have a good, stable environment. One, because her dad's a liar and a loser. Sorry, I hate to say that. For what he did to them. Because for me, there's nothing worse than somebody who denies their kids. That for me is beyond anything. So now her future children are going to suffer. Because now he gonna have to pay child support. It's gonna come out somewhere. Does he even have a job? Who knows? I know she makes money. Where's that gonna come from? They're married now. Who knows? But it's gonna come from her too. She's gonna have to struggle with that. Number 3, she's compromising on herself. So right now it's all cute because I got a husband, I got a ring, I got this. Oh, he my man, my man, my man, my man. Just to say that. But then when it comes down to the reality of it, that my man, my man, my man, my man is not gonna cut it. Because now they're tied together. They're in bondage. And I don't want you guys to have that situation if you're single. Or even if you're married. You know, make sure that you're with somebody that meets your standards. Hey, my wife wants to vote for Trump. What should I do? Can you say hi, Miranda? Hi, Miranda. Divorce her. Your wife wants to vote for Trump. Political differences. Now, you're already married. I'll say this one thing. You're already married. If you were with her, before you got married, I would say you need to think twice because you guys have different political values, ideological values. Those things matter because some people try. Let me tell you 2 things that matter the most to me. Anyways, that's my opinion. This is not fact because again, it's up to people's value systems, politics and religion. If you're not aligned on those 2, you shouldn't even be together. You shouldn't be together. The reason for that is that it's just too different. If you're not a supporter, if you're not a Trump supporter and she is a hardcore Trump supporter and you're a whoever supporter or Kamala or you're this way, you're left, she's right, you're left, you're too extreme. It's hard for it to work out. You have to be very understanding. Very understanding. And unfortunately, that's the person you chose. You knew their views before you married them. So they have the right to exercise their vote. That's the right that we were all given to legally vote. Now, you may not agree with her choice, but at the end of the day, it's still her choice to make. I can't fault someone for making a decision that's best for them. I know people hate to hear it, but it's the truth. All those supporters, all those voters, whichever side you're leaning on, it's your choice because you have that choice. However, what I will say is this. Is something that you guys definitely need to talk about. Again, I don't tell people what to do, but I will say that that's definitely going to affect your marriage. Religion too. Religion is a big one too. You guys got to align on that. And if your religious beliefs are different, but you're willing to be understanding and neutral, then it's a different situation. But if you're really into your religion and that person's really into their religion, I just don't see how that's going to work. Especially if they're opposite and they believe in totally different things. And especially when you have children, that's when it gets really hard, right? CFT, if someone can lie about something so important as kids, then what's next, right? She can expect something cataclysmic. Oh Lord, my pronunciation. Once again, people are very. You see, this is where, okay, so I remember somebody in the chat earlier said women are delusional. No. CFT, you're right. Delusional in this context is right. Now, he's a fraud. He's lied to you from the beginning. Before you even married him, he was lying to you. And if he could do that, and he met her family, and his family didn't even have the the sense or the just didn't say anything like, hey girl, let me give you a heads up. They didn't do that. That tells me that these are people you should not trust. I would not trust myself to be around them. I wouldn't even trust myself to be around him because this would have never happened. But that's my point. It's like, how do you get that far just in the name, just to get a ring, just to be like, I finally got it. Just to say that, when you should be loyal to yourself first. Always. First. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, it sounds selfish. You're so selfish. You're so... No. Okay. So y'all tell me on an airplane, who y'all putting that oxygen mask on? Yourself or the person next to you or your family or whoever? Don't they tell you to put it on yourself first and then put it on somebody else? If you're not even able to be loyal to yourself and your standards, how can you do that to somebody else? That doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm saying it's very important to have those standards. We're going to pray for Ashley because the stats don't lie. For real. Yep. 100%. 100%. I said a lot today. I said a mouthful, but I really hope that this live, and you know, I do my 2 hour, my little 1-2 once a week, so it's not too much. I know, you know, at least I'm not like putting so much videos out there. But what I will say is this: final thoughts. Don't lower your standards. Please don't. Your standards matter. And if ever you feel like, oh man, like, don't let people shame you, basically. Don't be afraid to live by your truth, live by your standards. And I think it's very important in this day and age because I see so many people lowering their standards everywhere. Lowering their standards, and that means every walk of life, not just in relationships. I'm just using relationships as an example because this channel is mostly geared towards relationships. But I've seen people lower their standards with jobs just to get a job, and look how that turns out. That's that kind of job where you like, oh, I just need to make money. Sorry about that. I just need to make a paycheck. You end up quitting 6 months later because you knew that job wasn't good for you. Or you end up being friends with somebody. You're like, oh, that person a little off, but I just need a friend. I'm so desperate for friendship. And that person ends up being the devil. Don't lower your standards, y'all. Please don't. And that's the advice I'm giving today. Same for friendships. Don't be friends with people who don't meet those standards of friendship. If your standard of friendship is for somebody to be honest with you and to be a friend to you and to actually talk to you and not always need something from you, those are standards you need to keep. This is the way you gatekeep people away from you, away from your energy, away from you, so you can live a fulfilled life. Because the worst thing in the world is to get yourself into drama and stress. Ashley, pray for her, because she going through it. Y'all, she could act all big and bad on the show talking about I'm doubling down. I know it hurt. I'm telling you, every time she opens that app or the internet, even in person, people see her and they're saying things. Imagine every time you open your phone, your name is being tagged on some mess because you married a liar, a fraud, a loser. All because you wanted to have a husband and you didn't have any standards. Or you lowered them just to have that husband. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it. Not gonna lie, my uncle is Eminem. I haven't had a real job my whole life. For real. For real. I actually really needed this right now. Okay. Oh, sorry. Alien. Oh, sorry. I thought it was the same person. I was like, wait, what? Okay, but for real, I really, yeah. Elizabeth, let me tell you something. Elizabeth Phillips, I'm telling you this because I love y'all. It hurts my heart when I see people lower their standards because like I said, I was on that boat too, so I can relate to feeling like, okay, I need to let go of this because then I won't get this and I need to compromise on this. No, there's no compromise when it comes to standards. Just your minimum standards. Because the government doesn't compromise. In every other walk, men don't even compromise. Let me tell you something. Let's say this situation was reversed and Ashley was an egg donor. And she had 3 little Ashleys running around. And she didn't tell him before they got together. You really think that he would be so understanding? I don't think so. I stand by that wholeheartedly. Because the same standards women have for men, completely opposite the other way around. Because I doubt that you would see a woman with a man with a serial baby mama. And even if he was with her, usually it's a hit and run. I hate to say it. Or he leaves a little souvenir and then he's out. Usually that's what happens. And when I talk about serial baby, I'm not talking about a wife who had a, you know, a divorce and had all these kids. There are different levels of it. But my point is this: everywhere else there are standards. It's okay for them to have standards, but when you have standards, it's a problem, especially when you look like, oh, you have standards? Aren't you worried as a black woman that you're never going to find somebody because the statistics say that you're... Okay. All right. All right. I got you. But guess what? Even with my standards, I was able to find somebody in a... Hold on, before I leave, I was about to egg, but you know, I'm still going to be talking. Because I don't know, for some reason, I feel like somebody need to hear this. And maybe it's you, Elizabeth. It could be you, it could be whoever. But I would say this. I was in a country, I lived in a country for 6 years. Korea. South Korea. South Korea is one of the most homogenous countries. They've gotten better with their xenophobia, but it's still a xenophobic country. The odds of a Korean marrying a foreigner that's not Asian is very low. I'm not the standard of beauty. Standard of beauty is pale skin. I am the opposite of what the expectation is. But guess what? My standards were still there in Korea. The list was still there. The list was still there. Even when I was dating, yeah, you know, even when I was, you know, guys were talking to me, the standards were still there. Now, you know, I'm about to get on a little sidetrack because some people were cute and stuff like that. But the standards were still there. Can't nobody tell me nothing. They can't. That's the thing. People always gonna be like, oh, it's easy for you to say. How? I got married at 34. 35, actually. Not even 34. I keep saying 34. I met my husband at 34. Got married at 35. Oh, it's easy for you to say. You never had... I was in Korea. Where they do that at? Where you gonna find your match in Korea? Most of the men in Korea get married, y'all. Maybe not now, but they have a set timeline. You go to school, graduate from university. After that, you find your mate, you get married, you have kids. At 34 years old, most of those guys were gone. They was married. They was out. My age group, I got to Korea at 31 years old. They were already married off. All the top-notch bachelors, they gone. They gone. They're not there. They're even lower than North America. The eligible bachelors there. And guess what? Preference is Korean women first. Maybe another Asian woman after. White women there. Black, maybe not even on the list. I'll be honest with y'all. So how did that happen? How did I meet my husband? We just talking about dating here? Okay, use another example. If you don't want to be married, no problem. I applied for a scholarship. Global scholarship. To go to grad school. I don't have money. I didn't have money. I still have student loans in Canada because I got my bachelor's degree. I was working as a teacher, a foreign teacher in Korea. I decided I wanted to go to school, do something for myself. I wanted more standards. I want to get a master's degree. I want to work on myself. I want to work on my standards to meet my own standards. But how was I going to go to school? I don't got no money. I don't have money. I'm not rich, y'all. Matter of fact, I just graduated from school. I took time off of work to go back to school. And then I moved to Korea to work, to pay off some debt, and then to live in another country. And then I was like, okay, I want to stay here. I want to go to school. I want to do something for myself. Apply for a scholarship. Hundreds of people apply for that scholarship. That scholarship means your tuition's paid. You ain't got to worry about your tuition. You get your language school paid. You get to take a year of Korean language studies. You get to live in Korea for at least 3 years on the scholarship. I was 32 years old when I applied for that scholarship. Imagine. I dropped out of college at 19, went back at 28, got my degree at, I went back at 29, got my degree at 31. And I got the scholarship. Competing with younger kids. Competing with people who've been in school this whole time. Competing with people who probably got way better credentials than me. I'm competing with people, I don't know. But somehow, it came. Because I kept my standards. I was like, well, that's what I want. And I'm going to go after it. And I'm going to apply for the scholarship. And even if I didn't get that scholarship, I was going to save money to get it. To go to school. Because that's what I wanted. That was the goal I had for myself. I had to keep myself in that zone. To not settle for anything left. If I want to get my master's degree, I'm going to get it. And I got it. My certificate that I'm getting right now, my postgraduate certificate, I didn't pay for it. I said to myself after I got my bachelor's degree, I don't want to get into debt no more. I want people to pay for my degrees from now on. I want my job to pay for it or a scholarship. And I found it and I applied and I tried it and I did it. And the reason for that is because I didn't lower my standards. I didn't fool myself into believing, oh, other people are better than me. You know what? I'm not even going to try to keep my standards. Like, maybe it's just good that I just work here and maybe I'll find another job. No, I wanted it. I got it. I want a job. I get it. I want to move somewhere. I go there. I want to work somewhere. I work there. That's just how it works, y'all. I mean, let me tell you, I know it's crazy to think, but there's something out there for you. Like, you just got to go out and get it and not compromise on your standards. Or wait for it to find you, whatever works for you, but don't compromise on it. I'm telling you, because you're only going to betray yourself. I wanted a good husband, I got him. Even if I didn't find him, I was going to be okay, but he found me. We found each other. I got what I wanted. I live in one of the most beautiful cities in Canada. How did I get there? I wanted it. I got it. I didn't lower my standards. I put the work in. If not for anyone else, it's for me. Right? You got to do that for yourself. I'm telling y'all, man. That's the secret. That's the secret. Prayer, belief, no compromise. That's it. There's no other secret to it. Now, next is losing weight. That's a goal that I need to get. I ain't gonna lie. I don't put effort into that one hard enough, but I need to. But I'm gonna get it. I did at one point. I got to where I wanted to go, but now I gotta get back to that. But it's a life thing. You always got to outdo yourself, but keep your standards. Now, my new standard is I want to live a really, really, really great life in the sense that, like, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. That's my next standard. And when I say paycheck, I have debt from, I'll go over that in a video. I have debt from back in the day that I need to pay off. And I'm still paying off. But that's on the list. But we're working towards our goals. We're working towards getting a house. Working towards so many different things. And that's because we have standards for ourselves. We don't want to keep limiting ourselves. We want to keep thinking better and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if those standards seem impossible to you at the moment, they do seem impossible because you haven't reached it yet. But trust me, when you get to that goal, you're gonna be so happy that you did it and you stuck by it. I made it in time. Yay, nice to see you. Oh, Little Magic. Can you say hi, Jaden? Oh my God, what's that scholarship called? Oh, it's called the Korean Government Scholarship. Good for you, not being sarcastic. Nah, I know you're not being sarcastic. No, it's just encouragement. Like, it was called the Korean Government Scholarship. If y'all want to look at it, check it out. I was a scholarship recipient from 2018, and then I graduated 2021 from one of the what's considered an Ivy League university in Korea. So I did my grad school there, and then I met my husband there while I was meeting my standards. I was meeting my educational standards. And then I met my man. And then we just been going up and up from there. And he didn't pull a Garrett on me. He told me, I remember he didn't pull a Garrett on me because when we first met, one of the first things I had said to him was, hey, we got to go to Canada. Like, I just don't see myself being in Korea for the fact that there's no career progression, and I'm very into my career. Like, I'm one of those career independent women. They are like, yeah, I like to advance. I always like to consistently advance myself, and it just seemed impossible in Korea. And he also wanted to live abroad too, so he was fine with that. He was like, yeah, I lived in New Zealand before, I lived in Australia, no problem. But you know what made me trust him was that, unlike Garrett, who lied to her and gaslighted her about the whole, the whole texting thing, and she should have had a red flag for that because he went back on his word. My husband never did. He never gave me a reason to believe he lied because he's always been consistent. Everything he's told me is the truth, straight through and through. He's a very honest person. And I knew he meant it. I knew he meant it when he said he wanted to marry me. I knew he meant it when he said he could see his future with me. I knew he meant it when he said, okay, we're going to live our lives in Canada. Well, actually, wherever, but we chose Canada because it was just easier. I knew he meant it when he said that, he wanted to build a future with me, legacy with me, whatever it is. I knew he meant it. And he did. And he has. And I meant it too. So my point is this, like, have standards for yourself first. Look at actions and words. Actions speak louder than words. If their actions are not matching their words and they're going back on their word, misrepresentation, that shouldn't even be on your radar. That person is a no-go. I would never recommend that. You'll find someone else that meets all of your standards. And then some. And to be honest with you, lying and manipulating and all that stuff, that's basic human standards. Like, why would you want to be with someone who's a liar? Like, that's just crazy to me. But there are so many people who do it. And it's sad. Because they want to lower their standards because they feel like they can't get anything else better. It doesn't matter your situation. You can get better and you can do better. So on that note, I'm going to read one last message. And then I think I took up a lot of y'all time. It's already 8 o'clock. Woo! I've been on live since 5:30. Almost 3 hours. You got me yapping. Girl, Garrett is suspect to me. More than suspect. More than suspect. And on top of that, like, I'm telling you how they are in the beginning. I'm telling y'all, whatever y'all see that shifty in the beginning that you overlook and compromise on, that's going to be the same thing that's going to keep recurring in your relationship. It's never going to change. That person is that person. That's who they're showing you who they are. Believe them the first time. Okay, little magic. I'm going to have to watch the replay because I got, oh, that's okay. Oh, that's why we have the replay, baby. You're going to see it. Yeah. You can watch 3 hours of me yapping and giving really, I hope it's good advice. I really hope so. The Deaf Studio, I love these chats. Thank you, girl. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, this chat came from the hot because I was so triggered watching the reunion. I just had to come on and talk about standards. But next chat is going to be next Saturday. So we're going to go back, resume our normal schedule. You feel like a big sis. Oh, you know what? That's my goal, to be honest with you guys. Because, okay, I'll let you guys know this before I leave. I do have an older sister. However, we're so close in age. And then also, I feel like my older sister and I kind of went through things together. So there wasn't much that she could teach me that I didn't already know. Sometimes she did teach me. She gave me a little game here and there. But I had to learn all this stuff by myself, y'all. I was literally like, I was just thrown in the abyss. My parents, first of all, they're very religious. So it's like, we didn't even get y'all don't even want to know how I got the first conversation about, sex and the birds and the bees and periods and stuff. There was no conversation like that. And then on top of that, my mom and my dad, they got married. I mean, they got married fairly, I guess it's young in these days. They got married at like 24, 25, but They had 6 kids, so they had time to, individualize time for each of us. That's number one. Number two, everyone around me was in hot mess relationships or settling. It's like all I saw, especially in my family, because I come from a big family, and especially on my dad's side, the women settle, y'all. Settle. Most of the women in my family are very driven, very like go-getters, nurses, like lawyers. I'm talking about not lawyers, but nurses. Like, they own their A game. Husbands, professional students, if they have a job. Couch potatoes, dust mites, serial breeders. That's who they chose. So this is what I saw in my childhood. Minus my mom and a few others, just very rare, just a little sprinkle here and there. But the women always were like the standard. Like, it's like the women were top, I don't want to say top notch, but they got it. They had it together. They was getting it. Taking care of the kids, going to work, hustling, doing all that stuff. Man, staying at home, doing God knows who knows what. Yapping, talking, joking, playing dominoes. Who knows? Who knows? One thing I will say, though, is my parents, they were the exception. However, there were some things that I didn't learn either. Like, it's like they only knew, because think about it, they didn't have those examples either. So they had to do what they knew best. And so we're just like learning, like we're watching our parents, and sometimes they don't even know what they're doing half of the time. They're just living life and trying to make the best of the situation they're given. And then now it's like, I also have to watch that and watch the people around me. I don't even know how I got to where I am, to be honest with you, but by the grace of God, to be honest with you, because the examples that I had were not, like, they were not exampling, like I'm telling you. So I was like, you know what? If I can't find the example, I'm gonna be the example. And at least I have people behind me. I don't want to keep this, like, I don't need to gatekeep none of this, because I think that this is very useful advice for everybody. And being that, maybe God made it that way where I can go through those things alone, so then that way I can give you guys that advice, and so that you can apply it to your lives if you see it fit, right? But I just want everyone to win, man. Like, I'm tired of us just, especially like, I would say I want all women to win, but especially Black women. Y'all hold a special place in my heart, because obviously, we had the odds against us. We're most of us are descendants of slaves, if not majority of us, but I don't know who's on the chat if you're not. I take that very, very seriously. The fact that, only a few hundred years ago, we were in bondage. And now we have opportunities that we never had before. Now we have, access to things we've never had before. And I would hate to see us settling and not living the most out of the opportunities that are given to us, even against the odds. A lot of us are doing so well, so amazingly well. We're driven, we're good leaders, we're go-getters. Against the odds, we still making it happen, still getting it out the mud. Single moms out there doing for their kids what their deadbeats can't do. You know what I mean? We got women out there, making it out there, getting education without the ring, still getting it, still making more than people in 2-income households sometimes. People making it happen. But then you meet one person, and that one person can throw your whole entire life off. That person can be the worst decision you ever made in your life. And I don't want that for y'all. I want y'all to keep going, keep thriving, reaching new heights, and I want the people that you're with and around to meet your standards. So then that way you can keep growing and not keep going down. Like, we need that. We need it. We're desperately needing it. We desperately need people that have standards and that are going to build on those standards so that we have good examples out there that are not celebrities. We all look up to those celebrities, but we need to start looking up to people who are really normal people, like everyday people. We want people to be able to have some aspiration, like something to look up to for our future generations. Like, anyways, I have a lot to say about that, but what I will say is this. I'm happy that I'm at least a big sister to some of y'all, or maybe hopefully all of y'all. And even if I'm a little sister, if you're older than me and you find my advice useful, I love it. I love that for you. And I love that for myself, that, you know, I actually can be held accountable. And it's given me more of a reason to keep coming on YouTube. And, you know, sometimes I get discouraged, or I'd be like, not discouraged, but more like, I'd be like, I don't feel like it, or I don't, you know, or I'm going to take time off. But now it's going to keep me accountable to know that you guys are actually benefiting from this. And that I have a lot of, because I always feel like there's so much channels out there. Like, why would they want to watch me talking about this for this long? Or why would my advice be special when there's so many people out there? But then I realized that, you know, everyone is different in their own way, and they have their own unique goals. And yeah, I just feel that, you know, this is beneficial to whoever's out there. And I really hope that these chats are going to be useful to you, and they're there forever. So you can always go back, listen to it. If you ever need a pick-me-upper, definitely. And yeah. So on that note, y'all, it's 8:08. I gotta get out of here. My husband coming home, so he went to the gym. If he come back and see me still yapping, he'll be like, you talk too much. When's your next chat gonna be? Oh, it's finna be next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm gonna have the not bacon chat. It's coffee and chat now. Next Saturday, November, hold on. Oh, I don't have my phone on me. I have my phone here. It's going to be next Saturday. So next Saturday, I think I usually go live. Ooh, that's a good question. I think I go live 12 o'clock Pacific time. So that's 3 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday. 3 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday. CFT, I'm going to read your comment and then I'm out. Life is about trials and many errors. If you aren't careful, settling with the wrong person is detrimental. Your life can be ruined forever. Exactly. I'm telling y'all, it is not a game. It's not a game. And people don't realize how much weight your decisions make for the future. Because right now you're in real time, so you can't see it. If you even go back in history, every decision has led up to something major. Even the small ones you take daily, even where you go get coffee. Because sometimes, maybe if you had chosen to go to this place to get coffee, you could have gotten hit by a car. But by God's grace, because you chose this way, every decision you make is tied to something. And I'm using an extreme example, but you get my drift, right? So, especially decisions that are permanent. Who you marry. I know some people take it as, oh, I could get divorced. Why would you even want to speak that in your life? Who you marry. Who you marry is so important. Who you have children with. There needs to be standards. That person is carrying, you are the future bearer of your legacy. Especially as a woman, because the life comes through you. Imagine someone who doesn't meet your standards. A dusty, I don't want to say dummy, but a dust mite, a liar, a swindler, fraud, misrepresentation, all that stuff. And that's the person you chose to procreate with for the future. And you think your child's not going to pick up on those habits? Even if you live in separate houses, that gene pool, the genetics are geneticking. That's that gene pool. That's that generational trauma. Those are things that carry on. It's not just about physical. It's not just about, oh, he look like his daddy. Oh, he got his daddy ear. He got his mama face. No. He has his dad's trauma. He has his dad's ways. Might not even be daddy. Could skip over. It could be the grandma. Sometimes you see your kids. I don't have kids, but I've heard. You be like, oh, you look just like your grandma. Oh, you sound just like grandma. Or you, whatever, the grandma. That's his twin. Not just physically. I don't know where you're just like this person in the family. It's real. And if he's not meeting your standards, you have kids with him, you marry him, good luck. That's going to be a hard thing to overcome. And you're raising the next generation with that person, and you're trying to unlearn, you're trying to make your kid unlearn what they see every day when they go to your daddy's house, if daddy's not in the house. Or if he's not even there in their lives. That's how he left me. That's already something that, y'all, don't put y'all kids through that, man. Don't put your kids through that. Please don't. It's not worth it. Don't put your kids through that. And then this is coming from somebody who taught kids. Don't put your kids through that. That is so, don't do it. And also don't put yourself through that. You deserve better. Always. Anyway, I'm about to get off live right now. I love y'all, and I will catch you on the next live next Saturday. Stay tuned and see you guys soon. Thanks for watching and for hearing me talk for like 3 hours. Love y'all. All right, I'm signing off now. Bye. Hope you guys all have a great night. Bye.